What's going on? What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are well. Everything's good in the hood. How's it going, peeps? Smash the like button, guys. Smash the like button. What's going on? What is going on? I hope everyone's good. How's it going? How's it going, everyone? Let's get the questions in. Let's get the questions in. Let's get this live stream started, guys. Let's smash the like button. Everybody in the live stream, smash the like button. Started. Going Jet. I hope everything's good. Good to have you in. One of my loyal guys on the live streams, always there. Hi Imran, did you check Rashidi Ellis? Yeah, he's quick. It's just that there's not much footage of Rashidi Ellis on YouTube. There's not a lot about Rashidi Ellis on YouTube. So there was this fight with John Carl Sosa that I watched. Highlight, like there's a fight on there. He's just under the radar. 22-0, 14 knockouts. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. But he's just a bit under the radar at the minute. How's it going, Raymond? I hope you're well. Hello, Bobby. I hope you're well. Are you watching the DAZN show? What? Sarameta and Munguia. It's on at 11 o'clock, I think. It's on at 11 o'clock. Let's see if I stay on long enough, I might do that fight. Let's see. Let's see if I stay on. How's it going, guys? How's it going? So Gamo's in the house. He says drop the link. I will do. Give me 5-10 minutes and I'll drop the link. Let this stream build up and then I'll drop the link for sure. Donaire replaces Rigondeaux. Yes, I've just made a video. I don't know if the video's up. I just made a video. I don't know if it's been posted up. 1 second. Let me just have a look. Yeah, it's going to literally be posted up in literally like 2 seconds. I've just literally put it up. It's going to be up there. Yeah, it's up now. I've just posted it now. It should be up there. It should be up there now. So the video's just gone up now. The video's live right now on my channel. So watch the video, guys. Yeah, so what are your questions? Donaire replaces Rigondeaux. Yes, he does. I'm happy and sad. I'm sad for Rigondeaux. And I'm happy for Donaire. I'm happy for boxing fans. We get to see a real fight. It's a massive fight and it's a great fight. It's a unification fight. I've just put the video up, so go and give that video a watch about Donaire and Casimero. Great fight. Can Donaire pull it off? I think he can. I think it's a 50-50, to be honest, because Donaire is bigger than Casimero, but Casimero right now is young in his prime. He's fresh. So I don't know. That's a very hard fight to pick, if I'm honest. Very, very hard fight to pick. I don't know who's going to win that fight between Donaire and Casimero. I think it's a great one. I think it's one for the ages. And stylistically, the fight's a great fight as well. I think stylistically, the fight's a great watch. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think Donaire will be favored odds-wise. Yeah, possibly because he's the bigger name and he just beat Obali. I think I agree, Jet. I do think he'll probably be the one favored on the odds, but I think it's a 50-50. I think it's anyone's fight because Casimero's, in my opinion, this would be his most high-profile fight. He'd be going in against somebody where he'd be. This is his come-out fight, really, when you think about it. So can he pull it off? Can he pull off this? It would be. I wouldn't say it's an upset. I'd say it's an even fight. For me, it's a proper 50-50. And if I'm honest, I don't even know who I would pick. It's that close for me. It's just a great fight. It's just a great watch, great fight. It's just, like I said, it's great for boxing. We're getting to see a unification fight, and it's great for boxing that we get to see these huge unification fights. So yeah, hopefully it's a banger as well. Hopefully it's a cracking fight as well, which I'm hoping for. I think it will be. I think it most definitely will be. Keep getting those. So I'm not sure who I'd pick yet. I'm not sure either. I'm confused. What happened to Rigondeaux? I think Rigondeaux might have got injured. If I'm honest. I think Casimero was the underdog v Rigo. Yeah. Guillermo Rigondeaux gets the winner. Should hopefully he gets the winner. If he's not injured, then is it a case where they've put him to one side and offered him a step off side and he fights the winner? Possibly, yeah. Yeah. I think that I didn't know about that. I thought maybe he was injured. Otherwise, why would you step? Like, I don't know. You got to question Casimero. If that's the case, you've got to question Rigondeaux's heart, where it's at. Because really, for me, he should be taking the fight with Casimero. But maybe he's been smart. Maybe he's thinking that if I step aside and they pay me step aside money, I get money and then I get to fight the winner. He wins all the way around because then he gets to fight for a unification fight. So I get his thinking behind it, but I don't know. If I'm honest with you, I don't know whether he should have just taken the fight. But yeah, let's get into this. Let me just quickly sort this out, and then we'll get into this live stream. All right, okay. Okay. Wa alaikum salam and chat. Wa alaikum salam to you, Stephen. Guillermo Rigon probably needs to look at wrapping up his career. Yeah. He's old, but I want to see him fight. I was a big fan of Rigondeaux. I think he had great skills, man. He had great skills, Rigondeaux. But unfortunately, his career has not gone like it should have gone. I think he should have been a lot bigger name and a lot bigger star than the way his career's played out. I feel sorry for him, to be honest. I feel sorry for Guillermo Rigondeaux. So let's get into this. Let's start answering the questions. All right, guys. Everyone in the live stream, if you can smash the like button, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so source Guillermo Rigondeaux is an agent. PBC saw the opportunity to make a unification fight after Donaire won and got it done. Rigo stepped aside to allow the unification and fight the winner. Fair enough. PBC finding a new fight for the 2 Olympic gold medalists in the meantime. Right, okay. Nothing wrong with fighting the winner and getting a hell of a lot of money and stepping aside, yeah. I think Rigo did the best thing. He got paid to step aside and potentially have a bigger money fight in a rematch with Donaire. If Donaire wins. Ever since he lost to Lomachenko, he was never the same, yeah. Yeah, I agree. You know, he shouldn't have, that Lomachenko fight was out of frustration. He took it because he had nowhere to go. Otherwise, I don't think he would have ever taken that fight. Okay, so right. Yeah, he was. Rigondeaux got avoided by he got avoided by Carl Frampton. He got avoided by Scott Quigg. He got avoided by everybody. The only guy that really fought him was Donaire, and Donaire lost. So yeah, Rigondeaux was unfortunately a very, very talented fighter. Just unfortunately, the TV companies couldn't sell him, and he couldn't get his name out there. Otherwise, you know, he was a quality fighter, Rigondeaux. Okay, so let's get these questions in. Yeah, his English, not having great English didn't help for sure. Charlo tonight. Yeah, later on in the morning, there's Jamal Charlo's fighting. Let's see how he gets on against Montiel. I'm pretty sure win, and then you need a big fight. We need a big fight from Charlo. We need to see what he does against Montiel, and then we need him to fight some of the best guys out there. So, guys, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Okay, where's it gone? Just drop the link. Early KO for Charlo. Yeah, possibly. There's a good chance. So, guys, anyone that wants to come on, the link's in the chat. If you want to come on and let's talk some boxing, drop the link in the chat so we can have a little bit of a chinwag about boxing. Jet Munguia at 152. At 154, KO'd Montiel in 2. Yeah, Munguia's a beast though. Munguia's walks you down and he's tough. So I think Charlo will get the job done. Charlo's very physically strong, punches very hard as well. So I do agree with you, Jet. I think Charlo will get him out of there quickly. Probably get him out of there quick time. Jaime is a real killer. He is a kid. Jaime is a very good fighter. Yeah, I rate him. Great fighter. Tough guy. Walks forward. Fast hands. Yeah, he's a very good fighter. Very good fighter. He's got a lot of he's very spiteful. I like that about Munguia. Strong, tough, punches hard. He's got it all. Munguia is a dangerous fighter. Powerful, yeah, he's powerful as well. He's the real deal. Yeah, he is. He is a good fighter. Very good fighter. How's it going?
Yes, sir. We tapping in.
You good?
Yeah. I made it, man. Made it to the live. I sent you a video. Just got finished working on the gram.
Oh yeah.
When I was training with Manny. But
I haven't seen it yet.
but I'm at the lower weight classes, 130,
Yeah.
135. So I could even go to 126. But yeah, man.
I'll have a look at it.
Yeah, man. I'm affiliated with Team Pacquiao, so we going up right now, waiting for him in LA. Shout out to Marvin and everybody, Justin Fortune, Freddie Roach, Sean Gibbons, Brendan, his son, my boy, everybody going up. Yeah.
I'll have a little watch of your video that you sent me. But yeah, what do you make of Nonito Donaire fighting Jonro Casimero?
That's gonna be a good fight, man.
How do you see that one playing out?
It's gonna be a war, man. It's gonna be like a Mexican style fight. They're gonna be going at it. See, I actually, I trained with John Riel. I know John Riel personally. I trained with him last Thurman camp. He was here the whole camp, so we were just running every morning. Yeah. I was training with John Riel and Steven Tafora, Jack Tafora. Yeah, Manny's fighters. Little guy, man, and can fight, man. Yeah, little guys, man, but they can fight. I'd like for him to move up. He could stay there, but that fight would be great. I'd like John Riel to take it because he's younger. Nonito's a little bit older, but I think right now John Riel has more firepower, and I think he has like 5 straight KOs, something like that. He has good momentum right now.
But
let me see.
Nonito beat Obali. Donaire beat Obali in his last fight, man, to become a champion again.
Yeah, that was a good win, man. You know what they say about Asians, they age differently, stay young forever. So taking care of his body. I think I'd like to see Nonito fight John Riel and then possibly call it a day. Or
Mm.
I'd like to see him see if he could go up or go in a way rematch. I wouldn't really care for that. Who could he
Do you think
fight?
Nua will
See,
beat him again?
Rigondeaux's already washed. Uh
Mm.
see, I think it'd be great if he moved up and challenged Gary Russell Jr.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd
Who?
be good. That'd be
Casimero or Donaire?
Donaire before he retired.
Oh, okay.
That'd be for legacy.
Yeah, but that would be a hard fight, man. Gary Russell's fast and he's
Yeah, see,
sharp.
that'd be a good fight, but they can make it happen if Donaire moves up. So it'd
Yeah,
be a good fight. And Russell only fights once a year, man. You know these PBC guys, man.
yeah,
So
inactive. He's inactive. So what else? So what else is
yeah, it'd be a good fight. But
Charlo's
these
fight
guys that
as well?
yeah, but Montiel's he's a bum. I don't want to say he's a bum, man. Just low level opposition. You know these PBC guys, man. A lot of their fights are cherry picked, fabricated careers. Uh,
Mm.
very, very yeah, they're cherry picked, man. Al Heyman, just like Al Heyman is a big part of why Floyd and Manny didn't happen. He knew that
Mm.
was like the Super Bowl, and he wanted to just milk the fight, just like how Spence and Al are ducking the Crawford fight, because they know that's the Super Bowl. That's Spence's biggest fight, so they know they're gonna milk that fight. They're just gonna wait it out until they have the best chance. Just like Al told Floyd in 2010, 2011, just wait it out. 5 years, they'll slow down a little bit. You'll have a better chance, lower risk, higher reward. So yeah, that's how these PBC fighters, man. Hey, but Al Heyman getting them right, he actually gets them into real estate and property too, just to get them right financially, like set up. But that Charlo fight, man, he's tailor made for Charlo, man. I saw some of his highlights. They get you an opponent that you're tailor made for, to look
Yeah,
good. Just like Tank, man. Barrios is tailor made for him. He's slow, man. He's gonna hit him to the body. He's gonna break his body, man. They have matchmakers, man, that are hardcores that they know this too, man. So
so you don't think that who do you want to see Charlo fight next? So you don't think Barrios is a hard fight for Davis? I've heard a lot of people say that they think Barrios could win that.
I think he's because Barrios is really just a blown up 130 pounder.
Do
Yeah,
you
I
reckon?
think he started at like 122. Um, he's just slow, man. I watched 3 of his fights recently leading up to this fight. He's just slower than Tank, man. I just Tank can definitely box with him and then get on the inside and just break him down, hit him to the face too right here. So I just from watching Tank, man, Tank can box and he can fight on the inside too. So he's just gonna
Mm.
break his body, man. Barrios is flat-footed, so. Uh, but Jermall, man, he's kind of lacking right now, man. I think he needs to fight Boo Boo Andre or Triple G, Murata, Benavides. Like, man, he's not really. I just named those names we want to see. Uh, who else in the division, man? It's not. I don't even know if Montiel's top 5.
Yeah, it's
So
not.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. You got Demetrius Andre, Triple G. You got Ryota Murata. I think he could beat Ryota Murata. That's the thing. So, but
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, man, there's good fights right there, man. He's not giving us good legacy fights to stamp his career. He's just getting these fights for the check to pad his record. Just like how these PBC fighters be, man. But
Do you think Do you think Charlo beats Golovkin?
so I think Charlo beats Golovkin. Uh, Which one? Bigger Charlo or Jamal?
Jamal, yeah, Jamal, the bigger one. Yeah.
I think they slug it out, man. I'll be surprised if Charlo stops him. But he is
Mm.
older now. I think Triple G in his prime beats uh this
Charlo.
Charlo. Yeah, I think Triple G in his prime for sure beats this Charlo. Gives him a boxing lesson. Um,
Mm.
yeah, man. Triple G in his prime, man. Great. I'll say like 15 to 17, man. He was dangerous. Very,
Mm.
very killer, man.
So, so who do you think is going to be the last man standing? Inoue, Donaire, Casimero, Rigondeaux. Who you got?
See, I'd like my guy German Ancajas at 118 to move up, man. I think he could take Inoue. I
You
think he
reckon?
could take Inoue. He fights like Manny the most out of all these Filipino fighters. If you really watch his fights, he fights like Manny. Aggressive, high volume, pressure fighter. Come forward, doesn't fight on the back foot unless he has to. Probably Inoue, man. But uh, John Riel give a good fight, man. I'd like to see that unification. It was supposed to happen in the pandemic, man, but Bob Arum stopped it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, man.
Inoue be the winner of that fight. If Inoue fights Casimero, how do you see that one going?
Oh, in a way, Casimero, man, I'll be rooting for John Riel, man. But I think in a way could take it in the later rounds, man. I think
What you think he'll stop him?
I don't think he'll stop him. But let me show you this real quick. I give it that's a 50-50 fight, man. Because Donaire was hitting him with some shots.
Mm.
Coming straight forward. Yeah, yeah. Because Donaire was just pop, 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 and then boom to the side, and then counter. Because that's what Manny does. Donaire does that too. Comes at you,
Mm.
boom, and then to the side, and then he steps to the side. But uh, I think in a way, man, it just has the overall just a little better boxer. I think John Real is a better slugger. They're going in there to just slug it out, man. I think
What's
in a way just has a little bit more sound boxing, or just boxing technique, just sweet science, just boxing, not even fighting, just just boxing.
mm.
Let me show you this real. I don't know how to change the camera though.
What's this positive focus is saying Manny Pacquiao hasn't knocked anyone out. His power is overrated.
I mean, look, he has see Manny power. He carried it and he showed it all the way up to welterweight. Whereas
Mm.
like fighters like Devin Haney, you like fighters that are younger. When you have power, you'll show it when you're young,
Mm.
as you move up, you'll show the weight classes you take your power to. Manny was able to take it all the way to welterweight. Of course, it's going to stop there. He's fighting bigger guys that
Mm.
are there. He's fighting bigger guys. They have chins. And a lot of them are they're like coming from like 150 down, moving down. To make 147. Some guys were smaller, but when you're fighting top level bigger guys at 147, man, you're not gonna knock everybody out. But the top guys he knocked out Ricky Haddon at 140. He was stopping guys at 135, 130. Man, he had power, and he shows he had power. Like Tio has power. He's gonna move up. His power is gonna move up with him. Like Tio, you could tell. Like Devin Haney, for example, he doesn't have power. He's not gonna have power at 140. He's gonna have to box. His power is not gonna go up to welterweight. So, for example, you're when you fight these top elite guys, high elite caliber, you're not gonna knock everybody out, man. Look at Spence, man. Where did the knockouts? Why did they stop coming when he stopped
Mm.
working with Blu-ray? You could say that, you know what I mean? So,
Mm.
you know what I mean? After Kelbrook and Ocampo, like where did the knockouts start?
Mm.
Where are they at? You know what I mean? You could say the same thing. So it's just that welterweight, man. When you're fighting the top level, and, and Manny's still dropping people, man. He dropped Jesse Vargas, he dropped Keith Thurman, dropped Matisse, almost dropped Broner. He hit him clean though. Broner has a chin. See, Broner has a great chin, man. Um,
What
Yeah.
Gamo, the positive focus comes back and says, why do
Let me
all
show
these
you
fighters
this.
like Bradley, Algieri, Mosley say Pacquiao hits hard when they all survived?
Well, the thing is, you're talking about one punch knockout power
Mm,
compared to an accumulation of punches. It's
mm,
different.
mm,
When you have one punch power, like you can get hit, but you're not gonna get knocked out. But you can take the hit, like, but
mm,
it'll hurt you. Like Thurman, he wasn't
mm,
completely hurt, but he felt the one punch power. It'll
mm,
sting you. You get the flash knockdown. Um,
mm.
but there are fighters, man, that have one punch knockout power. When you say
Wow.
Manny's power is overrated, Manny has power. Look at the face of the opponents he's fought after the fight. They're usually worse than his face. Um,
Mm,
like Thurman was busted up, man. If you watch the post-fight
yeah,
interview,
it was. Yeah,
right, his face was busted up, man.
yeah,
Manny's
for
was
sure.
busted up a little bit too, but man, Thurman's was busted up like crazy, man. Like if you watch the fight interview right after, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it
Manny
was.
has power, man. To compete at 147, man, you have to have some type of power, man, to keep these guys off you, man. Uh,
Mm,
you'll get stopped, man. You gotta have power to keep these guys off you, or to even box. They won't respect you or your jab, bro. They'll just walk you down, man. You
yeah,
gotta
I
have some
agree,
type
man.
of power, man.
He
You
definitely
gotta
had.
have minimum. You gotta have starting bare minimum power, which I'd say like Khan had power, man, but he had like he didn't have knockout one punch power.
Mm,
I mean his punches did accumulate
mm.
and wear you down, but he didn't have like one punch power. I mean,
No, he had speed.
he had speed definitely. All
Yeah.
those combos. How do I switch this camera?
So he goes here. The positive focus says the positive. Why do all these fighters? Okay, and then Holly Inferno comes back and says, you can believe that, bro, but Thurman is bigger than all of them, and Thurman got dropped and hurt to the body when Pac is 40 years of age. Yeah,
Thurman's a big welterweight, man. Thurman
yeah, he's
walks
big,
around,
man.
I'd
Yeah,
say, like at 170, man. For his height, man,
yeah,
Thurman's a big welterweight, man. He has power. I
yeah,
think
for
Porter
sure.
said. I think Porter said. I think Porter said that Thurman hits harder than Spence.
Mm,
Um, but Thurman's big, man. Thurman could be at
big, yeah,
154, but I think he just has more to accomplish at 147. How do I? Let me show you
yeah.
this real quick.
Thurman was a big welterweight, man, big guy, and he got dropped hard. That was a hard knockdown. That was hard knockdown, heavy knockdown, I should say.
Oh, check it. Uh, it's me and
Oh yeah.
John Real right here, man. We was training right here.
Yeah. I see that.
He just
Is that
working.
you behind him?
Yeah, it's me right there with Manny. This was the Thurman camp. We was all just training for those 3 weeks, last 3 weeks. Yeah, I can't really
Yeah.
get it. I got clips of us training. But yeah, it's me and my boy John Real right there. You already know.
Yeah.
We
I
was
see you
working.
behind him. Yeah.
Yeah. You see me right here with Manny training. You see me
Oh
right there? Yeah, we're just
yeah.
training. I got it. I got that shit's on Ellie's channel, man. You see me and Manny right there. We just chopping it
Yeah.
up. Yeah, we just chopping it up after the fight. This was another day we was training. Like you see me right there. You run that back. We was training with Manny. He was fast. He's
Yeah.
already fast. That was the last camp. Let me change the camera back. But that was just the last camp. He was already
Yeah.
so he'll be
What?
fast. He's when he comes to LA, he's already like he starts his camp in the Philippines. He's already fast, like because he never starts camp really fast. He like after like 4 weeks he starts getting his speed back, but uh he's already fast right now. So I'm sure like when he lands second week of July here, his speed is already gonna be there. He's just gonna work on strategy in and out here with Freddie. They're gonna
Yeah.
work on cutting off the ring quickly. I already know I already know one of the sparring partners Freddie called, so they're all gonna be ready here, um, for that intense last 4 weeks of camp.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence is not long away now. We've got what? How long left? What, 2 months?
Like a month and a half.
What do you make of this? What do you make of this? Positive Focus says Manny Pacquiao denied a drug testing, and then when he did testing,
okay,
he
let me break it down like this. Hold on. Shout out Plug and Play though, but so when Floyd, it all started in 2010. When Pac fought Claudia, he was supposed to fight Floyd. That's when it was supposed to fight Floyd. That's when it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So Manny agreed to a blood test
right
after the fight. After the fight, you'll get tested immediately, and if right after the fight, all right. And if people that are on gear that know about cycling, like I'm educated in steroids, like I know about HGH, TRT, you can get on Clen, you can get on Tren, you can cycle 250 milligrams, you can cycle for however a couple of months to a year. People are on gear. There's different types. And if you get tested right after the fight, it will show for sure right after the fight. See, Floyd wanted Manny to draw blood with VADA. See, Floyd weaponized drug testing in boxing. He weaponized it. He used it to his advantage. And Manny has always been tested. See, he wanted blood right before the fight. Same day, right before the fight, right? Same day. Just hours before the fight. And VADA, the thing is VADA, they take 3 vials of blood. 3 vials compared to like USADA and just the regular commission testing. VADA, they take 3 vials. 1 vial is like a tube. That's a lot, man. 3 vials of blood, man, right before the fight, like same day. Like as a fighter, because I train, and you know what I mean, that will definitely alter your performance that day, man. That's 3 vials of blood, man. You're getting drawn right here. It's coming. They're gonna draw 3 vials, man, and that's definitely gonna affect you. Floyd was trying to get the advantage, and he knew that, and then they were on his side where he only needed to draw like a 1 vial of blood. He had an advantage with them, and then that's what and Manny was like, he'll draw blood 15. He's down 15 days, no less. Or he wanted, or it was for sure 3 weeks before the fight, and he would take testing. I think 15 days before, and then he said no more until right after, right? Because he was definitely an intense training, and then the 1 week before he just wanted to rest. But if you know about gear and cycling and steroids, it would show like you can't really do anything in that span where you're not tested. You can't cycle long enough. You can't, like, you need more time. It doesn't work. Floyd was weaponizing it. He wanted it to it as an advantage. He wanted Manny weak. He wanted those 3 vials of blood taken from VADA. That's when he brought him in, because he was working with them, and he knew he could make them money and get their name out. And they worked with him. He weaponized Floyd Mayweather weaponized drug testing in boxing. And Manny was down to take the test, a blood test, 15 days before the fight, and one right after the fight, right after. But the same day, right before, that's VADA, man. 3 vials of blood, man. That's 3 tubes, man. That's a lot. Right before the fight, same days, hours before. That will definitely alter your performance in the biggest fight in the world. So Floyd was just never wanted to fight, and that was all him and Al Haymon. Because around that time, 2000, after he took that retirement, he started going with Al Haymon. And you can watch it all on Fight Hype back. Just click oldest videos. That's when it was him and Al Haymon, man. They stalled the Pacquiao fight. They knew they could milk it. They knew it was the Super Bowl of boxing. Al told Floyd, you can make this type of money with this guy. This is the super fight. He knew it, man. And they milked it until 2015.
Raymond's asking, Gamo, did you actually box as a pro or amateur, or were you just in the camp?
I know I didn't box as a pro or amateur, man, but I sparred with Jack DePorter, man, the other fighter, smaller guys, man, at
Mm.
122, but messed around with John Real a little bit, but not as a pro, man. I do boxing PR. I'm a musical
Yeah.
artist, and
You were
I'm
saying.
a model in LA, man. So we do that, but I do boxing PR and press part time, man. So
Yeah. You were saying. Greg.
because I'm half Filipino, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
must be big news in Philippines then. Nonito Donaire and John Ro Casimero, because they're two Filipinos fighting each other. Obviously, it's a great fight as well. It must be big news. It must be a bit like people must be excited. Or are
Yeah,
neither of those guys like huge names in the Philippines?
oh, they're known. They're known. It's
Oh,
just
they're
that
known.
when you want to make it in boxing, man, you got to make it in America.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, a lot of great boxers came from the UK. Lennox
Yeah.
Lewis.
Yeah.
We've had UK fighters take down American fighters.
Yeah.
Um, when Lennox beat Tyson,
Mike
uh,
Tyson. Yeah.
but you got to make it in America, man, if you really want
Yeah.
to transcend
Steven,
boxing and cross over.
it's good having you on the show, Steven. How are you?
See, Manny could come down to 140 and fight Josh Taylor and
Mm.
stop him, just
What's
Yeah.
to
up,
fuck
fellas?
around.
Good man,
Just
Steven.
to,
How are you?
because I've seen
Man, chilling.
Manny, man. Uh, dude, he's in shape, man. I've seen him in Wild Card, man. I've got to watch him train. Bro. Spence don't know what's coming. I think Manny will hurt Spence, man. But man, Spence is gonna come with that strength, man. That ruthlessness.
Yeah.
So
Steven, what's your take? Steven.
my take on Spence and Pac-Man.
Well, firstly, Nonito v Casimero.
Well, I got to roll with Nonito all day
Oh
long.
look, this Manny just laughing at me right here. This Manny
Yeah.
just laughing at me. Oh, hold on. I got another. Hold on.
Yeah,
My
man.
bad,
But
my
what I
bad.
was, it's all good, man. But what I was saying was, I got to roll with Donaire, man. Donaire, he been doing it for a long time, man. I don't think he's somebody that you can turn your back on at this stage. I think
Yeah.
his experience and his boxing knowledge overall is gonna make him the victor.
Yeah. Donaire, he's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of experience. He's a great fighter, man.
Yeah, he is. But
Yeah.
so I was listening to y'all. It's Juneteenth here, so everybody's celebrating. So I'm kind of doing multiple things. But I was listening to my man. What's your name? Gamo.
Gamo. Yeah.
Gamo. I was listening to. So you've been training with Manny, huh?
Yeah. Can't hear you, man. Gamo, can't hear you.
He can't.
I don't know where Gamo's gone.
No.
Gamo's gone. Gamo's gone. Don't know what's happened to him.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, so I don't know where he's gone. Oli Inferno, thanks for the super chat. Push the like button, guys. Everyone in the chat, push the like button. Yeah, so Steven, carrying on. I don't know, Gamo might come back, but he was showing footage of him training with Manny Pacquiao and John Real Casimero. What you think Donaire will stop Casimero?
I think he definitely has the potential possibility. There's a possibility that he could stop him.
All right, for sure.
I think Donaire is just how can you at this stage and what Donaire has shown us for the past 22 years, he showed us that he's an incredible champ, man. He knows his way around the ring. I I'm all in on Nonito, man. Team Nonito all day.
Yeah. Gamo, you
Yes,
agree
sir.
with that, Nito? Or you going for John Rowe?
John Riel, man.
Why? Why do you
Definitely,
think he beats
definitely.
Nonito? Why do you think he beats why do you think John Rowe beats Nonito?
He's just younger right now, man. I know Nito is a better boxer right now, but I think he can beat him just slugging it out with him. There's more output, just slugging it out, just phone booth fighting it. I think Nonito could take him the distance and just box with him, man. But I think if they fought, John Riel would just come at him, man, with that ruthlessness and just slug it out. You know, he has that come forward style. So, uh, I think John Riel would win, man.
So
But
Steven,
yeah, I got cut off when you were saying, yeah, I got to because I know Ellie, and I got to train with well, I
oh,
know
okay.
Pacquiao's managers. I know his manager's son. I know people from his team. Pretty few people from his team. So
How's
yeah,
how's
Team Pacquiao affiliation association, man. Team Pacquiao when it comes to Spence, definitely.
Steven, do you want to ask him any questions?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
asking.
right
I was
here.
gonna.
Check it. This was last camp. This was like a
Okay,
Thurman fight.
I see you.
This is a
I see
Thurman
you.
fight right here. Yeah. But yeah,
How's Pac?
I'm smoking some gas right now on my recovery. I was playing some basketball earlier. Yeah.
Man. So how's Pac-Man looking?
Well, I haven't seen him since he lost last fought Thurman, but he's touching down in LA in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna start his continue his training. He started it already way earlier this year, and he's he's working with Justin Fortune. I know Justin. I go to his gym sometimes, not too far from me. Fortune Gym
Okay.
Boxing in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And I already know their game. Well, they're gonna get the sparring partners to come in, and they're gonna get Manny sparring after he's here for 2 weeks. He's gonna run the hills of LA, over here, and I already know his routine. So we wait for him early. He wakes up early, and he's already running. He's already has his miles in by like 9 a.m. Goes home and
Mm-hmm.
recovers. He eats. He recovers for like 3 hours. Lets his food go down. Then he'll go boxing in the
Mm-hmm.
afternoon. And there'll be hella people waiting for him, but you gotta shut the gym down. Um, but it's great. I'm friends with his team. Shout out to David Cision. Shout out to Sean Gibbons and everybody. Podcast Sports. But yeah, man, I just want to see how he looks when he's hitting the bag at wild card. I'll go from there. I'm gonna be at the fight, but I want Manny to take Spence's belts, man, because this fight is gonna just prove the haters, man, all the LDBC, because Spence is their poster boy, man, and they hate it. They couldn't believe that Manny took the fight. They're shook right now. They're shook,
Mm-hmm.
and they're already making excuses for Spence, and they're saying all these pet allegations. They're the only ones bringing it up. Like Manny's always been tested. He's never popped dirty, bro. Whereas other fighters have confessed, like Sugar Shane Mosley, a lot of you see Canelo, a lot of these fighters, man, were on gear or they were on a cycle for a while. But yeah, I mean now they're bringing up this VADA shit, and like, dude, they're just making excuses for Spence just in case he loses because they know there's a big chance. So they're shook, man. They couldn't believe it. Yo, fuck 78 Sports TV, fuck Fanon, fuck Aki TV, fuck Blue Balls TV. Fuck Dante's Boxing Nation. Shout out my boy Punch Drunk, Showbiz, uh, Coach Malachi Williams, New Media Today USA. Shout out my boy Capson Full G. Yeah. But yeah, when we touch
What?
that, when we touch down, man, in LA is Team Pacquiao, baby. We
What?
gonna get he and Manny in the hyperbolic time chamber right now. See, like it's different. He's about to turn into this version. Like the condition and stamina he's gonna come in for this fight. Because I understand Tagalog when he speaks. You know what I mean? So he definitely wants to come in better condition. He said he watched the Thurman fight over, and he wants to come in better condition. And he said he is. And he said that the layoff definitely helped him, and it only benefited him, man.
Gamo, Steven, I want to ask you a question about, Gamo brought up something about the LDBC. What do you
Yo,
make?
fuck the LDBC, man.
What
Fuck
do you
the.
make of them?
I don't have problems with the LDBC, man. It's just like they be pushing narratives, man, and they be saying fake news, and it's boxing propaganda. Like a casual will go to their channel and they'll get misled and they'll think it's the truth just because they have like a following or a lot of subscribers. Like, nah, it's fake news, man. They're pushing the narrative.
Steven, what do you make of it?
Okay, so here's the thing. I take it that listening to Gamo, and I've listened to everything you've said thus far, and I think there's a misconception that, I don't know if since I'm black, I'm LDBC or I'm pro whatever they speak. And
yeah, I got a lot of brothers, I mean, out here in LA. I'm friends with a lot of brothers out here in LA. Definitely, and shout out to all the Asian American fighters. My boy Brandon Lee. But no, I don't want to just say, just because you black, you already by default associated with the LDBC. It's just that
Steven actually,
some channels be pushing the narratives hard, man, and it's just toxic in boxing, man. Like you know what I mean? It's just like, bro, and then some of them race bait and all this shit. Hey, man.
Steven, what's your take? What's your take?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a boxing hardcore fan, and I'm not a proponent of any one person. If you've ever noticed, anything I've ever said is kind of I'm non-biased, and the reason why I'm non-biased is because you can't really enjoy the sport if you fanboy out, and you're partial to one side or another. If I say something against Canelo, I'm sure there's sure to be criticism for any black fighter. The thing is, I believe that we have a couple of narratives going on in boxing that we need to extinguish. We need to get rid of. One thing we need to start looking at is saying everybody's ducking. Look, it's a matter. Boxing is a business now. It's a business, and there's millions, multiple hundreds of millions, perhaps even billions of dollars circulating through boxing. So obviously, a lot of these guys are gonna try to hold out on fights and try to pick the best fights for when the time is right, so they can optimize their earning abilities. Now, as far as Blue Blood and Benign and all them, listen, I don't subscribe to that. I just listen to what they had to say, because everybody has something good to say at the end of the day. You have to be receptive, and you have to, like I was telling the guy earlier today, on the internet, he, when Imran, he ran the story about Canelo versus Floyd, whose legacy is greater. I made a point that Canelo, whether or not we would admit it, Canelo's been stigmatized. He's been stigmatized. He's always going to live in Floyd's shadow. That doesn't say anything about what I personally feel. I don't feel like that. I feel like the majority of people who subscribe to boxing or look at boxing, they do it in the pastime. They're the casuals. They're not hardcore fans like us. We have the ability to be able to converse and discuss things without picking sides.
I agree. I agree. The thing is, Blue Blood. One thing I will say about him is that I actually think the guy's quite knowledgeable. He knows his boxing, but when he comes to like speaking about Wilder, I think he goes into an emotional place.
Blue Bloods is cool, man. and Blue Bloods is cool. I don't have a problem with any of them. It's just that
Mm.
first they're skin color fans, man. Like
Yeah,
78 Sports TVs. They're not fans of boxing. They're fans of black fighters only, and like they want to tear down other fighters and
mm.
to uplift their fighter. And like they'll be capping hard for Wilder and like inflating people's resumes. And like they'll be capping hard for them, man, and that's what makes me hate the LDBC, man.
I'm
Some
gonna say,
channels, some of them have good info. Because back then, man, there was no boxing content. It was just LDBC, man. For more YouTubers started talking about boxing on YouTube on the platform, just making videos,
Mm.
but like 2017 and before. You could even say 2018. It was just LDBC. It was Dante and Ellie was always there. Shout out Ellie, that's my boy. Ellie Seckbag, ES News. Um, I gotta text him directly. But it's just they be pushing narratives, man. They be pushing the Pacquiao steroid narrative still, bro. And Floyd Mayweather, that was just a whole smokescreen he threw out when the fight got canceled in 2010. He just threw out that smokescreen, just like how he threw Errol Spence in front of Keith Thurman so he could duck Keith Thurman. It was just a whole smokescreen. All those allegations, man.
how did Earl ever duck Keith Thurman? Is that what you're saying?
Keith Thurman duck. Floyd ducked Keith Thurman. My bad.
Oh yeah,
If I said that wrong. I said
yeah,
Floyd
yeah.
duck Keith Thurman, man. And then he was like, go fight Spence if you want to fight me. But he knew he only had one fight left on his Showtime contract, so he was all
Mm,
cap. And
mm.
like and that's when right after he beat Pacquiao, Thurman was the mandatory, man. I would have respected his legacy more and his career if he retired like that, man. Because Berto already had like 4 losses, man. Berto was more flat-footed. He knew I knew Berto had no chance. I was like, Berto doesn't even have the power to like back Floyd up like that or buzz him. Like I'm just like this, and he's not gonna outbox him. Like, dude, Floyd just gonna box to a UD, and I'm just like, man, he ducked Thurman at that time, man, and he threw
Gamo,
and he was like, go
at that
fight
time,
Spence.
Gamo, quick question. At that time, right? You know, when he fought Berto, he should have fought Khan or he should have fought Thurman, man.
Even Khan would have been a nice. I would have been down for
Yeah,
for
that would have
Khan,
been a great
but
fight.
he said on Showtime he was like, Showtime, they owe me this fight. It's my last fight on Showtime. I'm the money man. He was like I'm HBO. I mean, you got to go back to all the fight hype interviews. I respect Floyd, man, what he's done in boxing, but I mean, he did have a big he had a bigger impact on boxing than Pacquiao, but Pacquiao's legacy is greater. But Floyd Mayweather, there's the Floyd Mayweather ripple effect in boxing right now, and it's mad toxic, man. Floyd drained boxing and he milked it, and then I'm just like, man, now because like being an undefeated fighter is not an ideal blueprint for a fighter's career. It's not, man. If you think out of Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Gervonta Davis, you really think they're all going to retire undefeated? Like,
No.
if they do, man, I'm going to be like, it's about, like, if they really, you think they're all going to retire undefeated? See, that's not an ideal blueprint for a boxer's career, man. And that's why that's the Floyd Mayweather ripple effect, man.
Guys, go on, Stephen. Go on, Stephen.
And that's what I was gonna say that I you know is those are the things I look at. You're right. It's not realistic for anybody to believe that out of all the fighters existing right now, all the top contender fighters, that everybody's gonna end up undefeated. That's a narrative that was unfortunately it was established by Floyd, and we're dealing with it. But I listen. I listen to what everybody says, and what Keith was saying made perfect sense, and is happened exactly that way. Floyd, there was no way Floyd was going to take that fight with Keith Thurman when Keith Thurman was just steamrolling. He was just steamrolling everybody he was coming in contact with. So me personally, I believe what Keith was saying. But you're right. A lot of times on those different outlets and everything, and I don't want to disparage anyone, but they do seem like they kind of fall in their feelings. And like, how can you make a case for it?
Look. Okay, the LDBC They're the boxing fans that be saying that Fury cheated with water, with the spiked water, with the glove gate, the egg shaped form. Uh, Mark Breland was in on it. The LDBC are the boxing fans that be saying that Teofimo is not undisputed. You know what I mean? The LDBC are the boxing fans that be saying Devin Haney is the real WBC champion. The LDBC be saying Pacquiao is on steroids for sure, allegedly. Always, and they always be trying to do deflect tactics. When you bring up like a logical point, like we know Floyd used an illegal IV, but hey, there was no like a steroid in it. It was just for hydration. But still, man, it was an illegal IV, not in the fucking in the policy, and he still got away with it. I mean, Canelo's legacy is too is tainted, but he got a good PR team that swept it under the rug for him. But he was caught with he was cycling on Clen. He was on clenbuterol. He was cycling. But see, Clen only that's to burn fat and just build muscle faster. That's what it all is, man. It's really
Gamo.
just to do that.
Gamo, I want to ask both you and Steven about
like
the,
yeah.
you know, the Fury glove gate and the Fury, all the stuff that went around with the excuses about Wilder. Because obviously we the channels that you're talking about, they did bring them up. I don't know your opinion. What did you make of the glove issue and everything around that fight with Wilder?
Man,
Steven,
I remember when he lost. Yo, yeah. Honestly, Wilder didn't say anything until the LDBC came up with that whole glove gate, spiked water, and Wilder was saying all this shit about his costume was heavy and his legs he fell off, and Wilder, and then they came out with this other shit that Wilder's glove was halfway, and then bro, there was way too much shit. Yo, he just got his ass beat. He couldn't fight on his back foot. After Fury came at him in that first round, stepped forward, he was pressed. He was shook. And then he was shook, man. After this, I think he's still going through a mental breakdown right now, man. I don't think he should have took this fight, man. I think he's just gonna get his ass beat, and it's just bad for his legacy. I don't know if he's even gonna get the AJ fight if they offer it to him after this fight. It's just bad, man. Malik Scott, man, he's not gonna get Wilder that win, bro. No way they're gonna beat Fury, man. And the LDBC were capping hard, like fuck Aki TV. I don't even want to say that their names. It's just like they be pushing the narratives, man. And like if you're a casual trying to get into the sport and you're looking for boxing info and content and news on something, like they'll have fake news. Like yo, Blue Bloods, Blue Balls TV. There's not a day or a video where he posts something where it's like he has false info, man. He be lying in his videos all the time, man. Like I don't even like they give him a press badge because he has subscribers, but hey, I give him that. He gets a press badge like in certain events and fights, but man, he be in his videos, man, he be leading people wrong. Like yo, yeah, fuck Curtis Anderson, all those dudes over there, man. That's fake boxing news. See, LDBC is like boxing propaganda. That's the fake news, man. And the casuals don't know. A lot of their shit is fake news, narrative based, man. And Wilder pays the LDBC, man, to push those narratives, man. Also, Bill Haney pays Aki TV to push those narratives about Devin Haney, man. So we all know it, man. So
I don't really watch some of the channels that you're talking about. I don't even have a clue who they are. Like yeah, I know Blue Bloods. I don't know what's Aki TV, bro. What's that?
I thought you would know out of all people, bro. Out of who Aki TV is.
I don't know. I don't watch all of them, man.
Yo, Aki ducked my boy Punch Drunk. Yeah, they were gonna have a debate. They were gonna have a boxing debate on live, and he ducked him, man. He was on live and he was like he was all capping, man. Like, yeah, man, he ducked the debate and he sucks Bill Haney's dick. Yeah,
I know for a fact though. You know, real talk, man. I know Aki TV, the dude has a lot of knowledge, boxing knowledge, and I know Blue Bloods Sports TV. He has not a lot of knowledge too. They all have knowledge, but they are.
Good, man. They're good. I've seen Blue Bloods, yeah.
Yeah, man. They know boxing, man, but they just be pushing these narratives hard for certain fighters, man. And especially when it's fake news, and they just be rolling it with it hard, man. Like how they were, dude, how Aki was on Teofimo. Like, dude, you was capping for Devin Haney so hard. Like, bro, Devin Haney is not the WBC champion. He's the paper champion, bro. He got elevated. Yo, he's an email champion. He never beat anybody for it. Teofimo's undisputed, bro. And then you got this channel right here, just like, dude, pushing it hard, like, and then it's clashing, creating all this shit. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, fuck the LDBC, man. And then with a bunch of other shit, Wilder, all this whole Wilder glove gate, and then they don't like people from the UK, man. But
okay.
Hey, I mean, the LDBC, they got knowledge. I mean, they know boxing. I know boxing too, because I train part time, and I know boxing history. I've been watching boxing for over like 15 years, man. So
all right, yeah. Gamo, let me ask Steven
and
about.
I know pros and I know pros and amateurs too, out here in LA, and like Asian fighters. So definitely.
All right. Steven, what do you make of that Fury Glovegate stuff? Like, I know you must have seen it and you must have had an opinion about it. What do you make of it?
Well, I mean, my opinion is that there was no way you could make a case for Deontay. Deontay was just, you know, if you looked at any of Deontay's his fights going into, you know, beforehand, he just wasn't skilled enough, and he just wasn't talented enough, naturally talented enough to beat Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was just in another league. So there was no way I was going to believe anything, because why? I think logically, I think critically. There was no way you can make a case for Deontay Wilder. Now, one thing I will say is I think Deontay has the ability to capture the hearts of his audience because of his passion. He's a very passionate guy. And for those reasons he represents for his people, I think they gravitate to him. But if you're looking at it from a fair, just standpoint, you would have known that that's a mismatch. Like you were saying, this fight that he took is a very damaging fight. It could prove to be very costly. Now, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what's going to happen. But if he does lose this fight, he may as well wrap it up because his credibility is shot. And one thing he's doing right now, he's thinking with emotion because he was beat, he was undefeated, and it's a blow. But him taking this fight right now is just the absolute worst thing he could have done. And the last thing he does need is he doesn't need yes men. Deontay Wilder doesn't need yes men right now. He needs somebody that's gonna tell him the truth, and kind of work with him and build his skills up. Deontay Wilder didn't have to take this fight. He could have took a tune-up fight or whatever to get his feet wet, to see how his new boxing style was going to be implemented if he could utilize it. But yeah, I feel your frustration. But overall, man, I just wanted to talk boxing, and I want to do it, you know, on a platform that's unbiased and, you know, open to everything everybody says. Because again, everything that everybody says is your point of view. You're entitled to that. But don't let Blue Blood and his followers, and because, you know, I listen to their shows all the time too, and it is aggravating. It is aggravating because you want to see, you know, as a boxing fan, you want to see the best win. And there's a lot of unanswered questions about a lot of the fighters that they promote. Like, you know, Devin the Dream Haney is an incredible, and I mean incredible, boxer. He lacks power. And that lack of power it'll be a matter of time before he's gonna be exposed.
Yeah, you know, Devin's a great boxer. Devin's definitely fundamentally sound game, great boxer. But the thing is, like, he needs power, man, to keep these guys off him, and he needs power to stop him and walk him down. I think he was trying to walk down Linares, man, but he just didn't have the power to, man. And then Linares was eating all of his shots. He was hitting him clean, man, for like 8 rounds straight. But Linares was eating a lot of those shots. And after the fight, Linares said, you know, he don't have power. But Devin Haney is a
don't have
great
power.
boxer, man. He's a great boxer. He's the best. I think he's definitely one of the best boxers out of the new generation. Fundamentally sound. He could he could box with Tio definitely, but to beat Tio, he's gonna need power, man. Because I think Tio got that power, and to develop power at this age, like power, you have that already when you start boxing. When usually when you start boxing, it shows that you have power. Devin Haney's gonna have to box probably in his career, just like Floyd. Floyd wasn't known for his power, for his one punch power. Floyd was known for being a good boxer. He was aggressive, man, before he was Money May.
So what do you think about it, Imran?
What about what, Devin Haney?
No, about just like the division, the division in boxing. That it seems to be some a lot of division. You have the Mexican fan base.
Like, I get. Yeah, you know
See,
what?
I don't want to. My bad.
I don't really have a to be honest, I'm a boxing fan. I'm a hardcore boxing fan. I don't really watch boxing like cult boxing, like watch these channels that are pushing agendas. I just say how I feel. Like, I got into the sport, right? I'm from the same background as Amir Khan, right? So I got into the sport when he became big, because we didn't really have anybody in the UK from that background. So he got me into the sport because there was a lot of interest here about him. So I got into the sport of him. But that doesn't mean like when Amir Khan fought bad, or when his weaknesses that were obviously there, I brought him up, and I didn't ever like push an agenda. You know what I mean? Like, I liked him because he's from my background and he was inspiration to many people from our background. But that doesn't mean that I don't bring up some of the weaknesses that he had, or some of the things which we all know in boxing. So, but the thing is, like, the thing is, you can all support the fighters that you inspire to, or from your background. Fair enough. But that doesn't mean that you blindly make out, oh, well, Danny Garcia had something in his gloves. That's why he beat Khan. No, he beat him because he caught him with a big left hook that hurt him, staggered him, and he couldn't recover after that. What we put, or the referee stopped it too early in that fight. Do you see what I mean? Like, I just feel like when a fighter loses, you got to call it how it is, even if it's a fighter that you look up to or you support. And I feel like I remember when Wilder lost, it was almost like a lot of these guys that I saw reporting about it went into kind of shock. Because they weren't expecting. They thought Wilder was unbeatable. No man is unbeatable, right? Every man can be defeated. And I feel like Wilder and his fans had a perception about Wilder, like he was unbeatable, like he can't be touched. And Fury obviously showed in both fights, by the way, that Wilder is beatable. He can be beat, and he was beat. But it was almost like, the reason why I think we got the excuses is the fact I think they just couldn't believe that he was beat. They couldn't believe that he was beat. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, and then they say, oh, it was racism, and that was Wilder bringing up all that race baiting. Look, when I say fuck the LDBC, I don't want to say, oh, like fuck all the black fighters and black people. No, it's just like, it so happens that they be capping for certain fighters. And okay, for example, I heard on 78 Sports TV's live stream, because their fans be delusional, man. Like, their followers and subscribers are lost, man. Delusional, hella. And I heard they were like, oh, if Wilder loses to Fury and Spence loses to Manny, I'm never gonna watch boxing again. I was like, wow. I was like, man, that's sad, man. Like, you're being a fan over the black fighter, not looking at the beauty of the sport. Like, you know what I mean? You can't be happy even if the other fighter that's not your color wins. You can't take it. You can't take it. They can't take it. So just making excuses and things like that. But see, me, I'm a fan of boxing first. Skills pay the bills, bro. Boxing is a world sport, man. There's Asian fighters, Eastern Europeans, whites, blacks, Hispanic fighters, all over the world, man. So,
but Gamo,
that's what. But they be capping, man. Even for and they be like capping for the PBC, and it's hard for Wilder, man, and Spence a lot.
Gamo, just a quick one. majority of people, majority of boxing fans aren't like that though. Like majority, there's only like a small minority that we're talking about. Majority of boxing fans love boxing and they appreciate. Like Steven, for example, Steven loves Manny Pacquiao, don't you, Steven? You're a big fan.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of him. Big fan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've talked to Manny many times, like this close, like face to face. Like I've told Manny, like I've seen him like shirtless, ripped. I've seen how he looks in camp. Like dude, Manny will fuck you up, man. And I'm just I tell him, man, you could fuck people up at 140. He could make 135 and dominate, man. Like he really could. He could really fight at 140, man.
I wouldn't want to see Manny make 135, man. That's a lot of weight cut.
Legend. No, man, trust me. Because I'm way taller than Manny. See, Manny's like five. He's like 5'6", man, like and a half. I'd say like he's like almost 5'7", man. Manny's almost like 5'7", man.
Yeah, but would you want to see him cut that much weight at this age? It's a lot of weight, Gamo, 12 pounds.
Yeah, it's possible, man, because Manny really walks around at really, man, like at 145.
Yeah,
he makes welterweight easy, man. He doesn't really. He only starts really checking the scales like a month before, because he's already in the 140s close, man. Like he's always under 10 pounds to cut. Like he makes that easy with Freddie. They already mastered that. It's just the stamina, man. He can make 135 easy. He could still dominate these guys. Whoop Lomachenko at 130. Lomachenko dug Pacquiao.
Guys, just a quick question. I want to ask both of you. Who should Terence Crawford fight next?
Man, if they offer him Josh Taylor and then they rob him for the belt, just like the Pacquiao Horn situation, because his contract's going to end. Okay, if he fights José Lopez, man, that's going to suck. That's not a no respect fight. And I heard Thurman's going to fight Porter, so it's not going to be one of them. I don't know, man. They just have him laying on the shelf right now, dude. Because his contract's going to expire in October. And I think they're trying to rob that belt from him before he leaves, just like how Manny's contract expired. And they know he doesn't want to sign the extension. So who's he going to fight, man? If it's not Spence, Thurman, Porter,
Steven, what do you think?
I think he should fight Josh Taylor or the Ramirez, one of the two, because he's not getting any fight. Because it seems like for some reason or another, he's not fighting the guys at 147, and I think that the notion that he's pound for pound the best fighter in the game right now, I think that was a little misleading, and I think that was a narrative that was developed, but there was no truth in it. So I think he probably needs to go down and try to fight Josh Taylor or say Ramirez. That's my personal thoughts.
Steven,
yes, sir.
If Crawford fought Taylor, who would you favor?
I would favor Crawford.
Oh yeah, easy, yeah.
Knockout easy by knockout.
Yeah, he better stop. He better stop Taylor, man. Like if he goes the distance with Taylor, that'd probably be embarrassing, man.
Oh, he'll stop Taylor. He'll stop him.
Yeah, he'll stop Taylor, man. Like he stopped Horn. See, I mean,
I think
Amir
he'll
Khan.
him.
Yeah, he'll probably stop him like how he stopped Horn, man. Like exact same way. See, Amir Khan. If Amir Khan really had the skills, like he could, he got the chance to fight Crawford. If Amir Khan stopped Crawford, he would have rejuvenated his career. That would have been like the best. That would have been best. Yeah, but think of it, man. He got the fight, and if he stopped Crawford, that would have been the biggest win for his career. Like if he somehow like gave a performance where like he quit, man. But I was like, oh, he took the knee. It's the UK fighters, man. Taking the knee. But man, like if some people had hope, man. Like the hardcore Amir fans. Like, I was like that Amir would stop Crawford in a sensational fashion. And I would be like, man, that would be Amir would be like legendary for that. I would be like, man, this would be the fight like that would like transcend his career after his knockouts and loss. Like this would like supersede that, and this would like be great for his. That would like mark it. But I was just
Gamo,
like,
quick
man.
question. When Amir fought Crawford, right? We're talking about Amir that was probably 7-8 years past his prime. That wasn't the Amir that fought Maidana, man.
But how
that was Amir that was way past
it.
But
think of it, man. It just shows his longevity. See, think of it, man.
Yeah,
Manny
but you can't compare Amir to Manny. Amir don't live the life like Manny, man. Manny's different. Like you can't compare. And Manny's always had he lives the life. I've never seen him overweight. Also, Manny had a way better. Physically, Manny's a lot better. Like he was physically stronger, and he had obviously better chin than Khan. So, I think it was unfair. And also, let's not forget, Amir went up to 155 and fought Canelo and was knocked cold by Canelo. That was a devastating loss by a bigger man. You know, that was a horrible knockout. So I think Amir was way past it when he fought Crawford.
Amir was like you could tell when he fought Crawford for sure, but his age was like he was only like 31. If you look at the tail of the tape,
he wasn't old. No.
He wasn't like he was 31. Think of his longevity wasn't there. Amir from
he wasn't
like,
a fresh fighter though.
He was a fighter. I'll say Amir's prime. Amir's prime was 2008. I'll say to like 2013. And then I'd say like and then his back end was like 2016 from there. And then he fought Crawford. He was already washed. But think of it, he was 31, man. Think of it. He could if he wanted to, he could still get in the gym and dominate until he was like 37. Because I think right now he's like 34. He could still fight till like 37, man. But I don't think he has it in him, man.
It's the fact that he didn't live like you gotta look when you see Floyd and all these guys doing it. Floyd, Manny, these guys doing it at a later age. Bernard Hopkins, those guys were like gym rats. They lived their life. Yeah. Amir was like
if Amir stopped Crawford like in a crazy fashion, and it was pay-per-view, what do you think that would have done?
Bad,
like, and he stopped them like that, and like in a legit way, like that would have been crazy. Like,
you know why people, Gamo, you know why people thought that Amir could win that fight because of his past, not because of what he had done. Like,
they sold it. That's how they sold it. They sold it because of his past. And he had a big. They used his name because Amir does have a big following. He has fans in America. He has a lot of fans in America, man.
What did you make of that, Steven?
Yeah, I mean, man, listen, like you were saying, Amir Khan was operating off his reputation that preceded him, and listen, against Crawford, man, there was no way he was gonna pull that fight off. There was no way he was gonna pull that fight off. But one thing I will say, Gamo, is what we need to do is when we have these discussions, I noticed that you bring up Pac-Man every single time, and we're talking about we're talking about two different fighters. Pac-Man has no relevance in it.
We're talking about Amir Khan. Yeah, we're talking about Amir Khan. Hey, they did spar, but I am part of Team Pacquiao. When he lands here in LA, so yeah, definitely. Team Pacquiao,
okay, baby. Man.
Yeah.
Thing is, it's like two completely like Steven's right. We're talking about one guy who was a very, very good British fighter, that did great things, for himself. But they were talking about one guy who's one of the greatest of all time, in Pacquiao. So it's like. You can't really compare Amir and Pacquiao, even though like I said, I'm a massive Amir Khan fan, but we're talking about two guys that two different levels, really. You know what I mean? And that's just the way I look at it. I think
Khan has shown.
Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say real quick, Amir Khan has shown a lot of vulnerability and a lot of issues early on. His chin was suspect, everything. Amir Khan was great for his time, but like you said, that fight with him and Canelo, when Canelo cleaned his clock, man, that was real devastating.
He shouldn't have taken that fight, Steven.
No, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have.
No, man, that was a horrible fight. That basically ended his career, really.
He was doing good though. I think he was doing good
Oh yeah, it
boxing. Like
was.
in
Yeah,
the
it
first
was.
5 rounds, like he was boxing good. Uh,
Yeah,
he was boxing good, man. I give
yeah,
him
it
that.
was. I
But that's
agree, man.
He got
but
clipped though,
that's
man.
Amir Khan's that's Amir's
He got
that's
clipped with.
Amir's yeah, that's Amir Khan's that's his Achilles heel though. He fights good, you know, the first 5 6 rounds, and then after that
Mm,
he taps out. Amir Khan
mm,
was Amir Khan. There was a time where Amir Khan, believe it or not, he was one of my favorite fighters because I
yeah,
like how
yeah.
slick. I liked how slick he was. How you
Mm,
know his boxing ability was chart topping, but
mm.
that didn't translate into him being a great. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Amir
I
Khan
agree.
was, yeah.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. He could have been. He could have been great. Yeah, he could have been like an all-time great. You know what I mean? But he probably left his career like as a very good fighter, but not a. See, there's the thing is there's a level. You know what I mean? There's levels which, like for me, Keith Thurman, right? He's a very good fighter, right? He's not
Hmm.
a great, you know what I mean? Like Errol
Hmm.
Spence and Terence Crawford right now, they're excellent pound for pound fighters, but right now I wouldn't call them all-time greats. Do you know what I mean?
No, you wouldn't be able to. I mean,
Yeah.
the jury is still out on both of those guys.
Do you think Spence and Crawford will become all-time greats?
I think there's a possibility that Spence is because
Mm.
if all goes plan, I mean, you know, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but it looks like Spence is gonna. Again, I'm not a fortune teller, but it looks like Spence is gonna go ahead and he may end up stopping Manny Pacquiao. So if that
Mm.
happens, I mean, that's gonna solidify his greatness right there in itself. You know,
Oh yeah,
now.
But
definitely.
do
He
you
can
think credit
stop
for that
Manny.
though, Stephen? Do you think he'll get credit? Guys, even if he does beat Manny, will he get the credit for that?
Well,
He's
the bias
42,
fans
remember?
will. Yeah, the bias fans will be like, oh, Manny's old, but like the real hardcore is like, yeah, you gotta give Spence the credit, man, because Spence has the edge though. He's the bigger man, taller,
I don't
longer
think
reach, bigger.
Gamo, I don't think they
He's
will.
coming down.
I don't think they will, though. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll give Spence credit. I think they'll
See,
say,
but
well,
like who
Pacquiao was 42.
and see like who has Spence really fought on that elite level? That's why like see I like Spence a lot, man, but it's certain fans like certain fan bases like like which happen to be people in the LDBC inflating his resume and capping and saying he's already pound for pound like top 3, top 2, and like there's some delusionals that are saying he'll beat Canelo. I'm just like, man, these
No
guys are
chance.
delusional. Like I'm just like, wow. But man, I when you really break down Spence's resume, his first world championship, he got it from Kell Brook in 2017. He fought Brook in his prime, but Brook did get fucked up from Triple G. Uh, uh, then he fought, I think, Ocampo, Lamont Peterson, uh, and then he fought Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, and
Mm.
Danny Garcia. Danny
Mm.
Garcia
Gamma,
recently said
Gamma,
in an interview, yeah,
Gamma,
go ahead.
listen to me. Errol Spence Jr. is he's the real
He's a great
deal.
boxer.
He's
Yeah, he's a
beaten.
great
He's
boxer.
he. Well, hold
He gave
on.
Floyd a black
Let me
eye.
finish. Let me finish. Errol Spence Jr. has beaten all the top elite fighters at 147. Everybody they put in front of him. He's beat some top contenders, some head honchos. He beat Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Phil LaGreco, Leonard Bundu, Sean Porter.
Kell Brook.
He's beat some Kell Brook. And
Mm.
listen, when he fought Kell Brook wasn't no Kell Brook wasn't Kell Brook was by far the best welterweight in the world. He was by far the best because Keith Thurman had went on his little hiatus. But Errol Spence Jr. went over to his homeland and took that motherfucking belt, man.
Okay.
You cannot discredit Errol Spence
As a
Jr. He
boxing,
is the real
okay,
deal.
Mm.
as a boxing hardcore, not even trying to discredit Spence from this Manny fight. I just break it down as a boxing hardcore. like a boxing press a journalist. Like I okay, I look at Spence's resume. Okay, you say Danny Garcia. Who has Danny Garcia beat at welterweight? Danny Garcia shined at 140, but who has Danny Garcia beat at welterweight? Mikey Garcia. Who has Mikey Garcia beat at welterweight? He beat Jesse Vargas. Manny fought him. And then you say Sean Porter. Sean Porter lost his biggest fights two at welterweight. He did drop Broner, but he lost to Kell Brook. And Sean Porter did lose his biggest fights at welterweight. And then Carlos Ocampo, good solid fight. I give Spence credit for that. Lamont Peterson, I give him that. But his first world championship was really Kell Brook. And I think this is only his like fifth defense or sixth defense of that title. And I think Manny will take his belts, man. But I give him the Leonard Bundu fight when he was coming up. Spence is a great southpaw, come forward, break you down, a type of fighter. But I'm talking about elite level at 147. Manny's definitely the most the highest caliber he's fought. Okay, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia, and then Ocampo, Peterson, and then he won it fighting Kell Brook in his prime. I give him that. Spence is a great fight. I give him all credit, man. If he stops Manny, I think he has a chance. He has a chance. I'm gonna tell Manny in person to his face when he comes over here. Like, yeah, man, be careful, man. This guy could knock you out cold, man. You could be done, like cold, man. Like this, Spence has power, man. And Spence has a lot of haters, man, that say he's a weight bully, because he does come down a lot, man. That's why people say, oh, this dude's cycling, because he has buff nipples, and he's on cleanse to get down from like 175. I'm like, dude, let's just get to the boxing. But I just look at Spence's resume, and like just at that elite level, this is gonna be Spence's biggest fight, and it's gonna be the highest caliber elite fighter he's fought. Definitely,
Guys,
at the old age, definitely. But I just look at his resume from when he became a world champion. Because see, when you become a world champion, that's where I go. I go from there too. But I seen Spence on the come up. But when he was coming up, Thurman was the man. Thurman was the man.
Guys, I just want to make this point, Stephen. I know you went through Spence's resume. One thing I will say, I agree with you, Stephen. His resume is good. I also agree with Gamo. But one thing I will say to you, Stephen, about Kell Brook, I'm from the UK, so I know a lot about Kell Brook and his career. And you, from being from the US, you probably didn't see Kell Brook's early career and him fighting some of the fights. Kell Brook was always a guy in the UK that was known for a guy that his only win really came against Sean Porter in a very close fight, by the way, a fight that Porter could have easily got. Kell Brook fought a lot of cherries to get to the top. Like, he fought names. I don't know if you know about the beef between him and Amir Khan, right? That beef was going on for a very long time.
And let me make one more point before
go on.
ST get back on it. Okay, on Spence's resume, like, who fought Sean Porter and Danny Garcia back to back before Spence? Keith one-time Thurman. Who was unified two-belt holder? Who was a unified two-belt holder before Errol Spence in 2017? It was Thurman. So people say, oh, Spence, because Spence barely accomplished and what Thurman did in 2017. And we're keeping it real, but his reign was short. You know what I mean? But
Gamo, Thurman wasn't the same Thurman.
Thurman was the number one man.
Thurman wasn't that same Thurman. Remember, he was injured when he fought. When he was injured, and then he took a 2-year out, and then he came back, almost got knocked out by Lopez.
No, but he fought Manny Pacquiao at 30 years when Thurman was 30 years old, man. Even when he had the layoff, he was the number one welterweight at that time, man. So that's when he fought
Pacquiao, he was the number one welterweight.
Well, that's what he had been unified, and then he just came back after fighting Jose Zito. That was his tune-up. So he was the number one man before. He
was stripped of the WBC belt because Spence and Porter fought for that. He had the WBA belt.
Yeah, he was stripped. But what I'm saying was, Thurman was unified before Spence. He was, and he fought Sean Porter and Danny Garcia back to back before Errol Spence did. Like, and he just did it. That's why he's talking all this shit right now. he's fighting his leftovers. But I give him credit for all of that. I need to see him fight Bud Crawford, man. That fight should have happened in 2018, 2019 latest. That fight should have happened already, bro, in like 2018 or 19.
Steven, what's your take?
What's my take on what now? Sorry about
that. On the Spence, the fact that the fact that Thurman was unified before Spence.
Yeah, I mean, Spence was calling out Keith Thurman. He called him out for whatever reason. I'm not gonna say Keith Thurman was ducking, but for whatever reason they couldn't make the fight.
Come on, Steven, he did duck. Come on, he didn't want to fight Errol Spence.
No, I don't think he ducked him. I think for whatever reason they weren't able to make the fight. But as far as
Thurman ducked him. I think Al too. I think Al didn't want to make it too. It was on his part, because if they really wanted to make it, Al would have made that shit. But Thurman did, I think, duck him a little bit, because he knew that he was a little weak to the body, and then he knew Spence had strong body shots, man, and he was taller than him. That's why he took the Pacquiao fight, because Pacquiao was smaller. So he thought he could.
But from what I'm hearing, But from what I'm hearing, you guys, is that's not an indictment on Errol Spence Jr. That's not an indictment on him. Because he was doing his part. He called Keith out, and Keith didn't, take the fight for whatever reasons. Again, I don't want to say he was ducking, but he didn't take the fight. So they had no bearing on Errol Spence Jr. And the fact of the matter is, Errol Spence Jr. is undefeated right now. He's beat everybody they put in front of him, whether they were tomato cans or top contending fighters. So we'll have to reserve our overall opinion for what happens after the fight with Manny Pacquiao. Is that fair?
Yeah, and I give him the Chris Algieri.
Listen, man, Spence is a good fighter. Spence is he's a quality fighter, man. He's one of the best in boxing right now. I don't see how anyone can question.
But Spence could go up against with Prime Cotto. Spence could go up against a Prime Cotto and possibly beat him, man. Yeah. Spence is that good. Like he could beat a Prime. He could go up with Floyd in his prime. Like Spence is definitely fundamentally sound, bro. Like he could go up against he could even a Prime Manny. I still say Prime Manny would beat him, but Spence could fight, man. I think he's one of the tops in this era, man, but he needs to go to 154 after, man, if he don't fight Crawford, if he beats Manny. I give him the Chris Algieri win, and then Leonard Bundu, because then after that he fought Brook for the title. He stopped Algieri, man. I give him that. That was a good fight. I was watching that live, and I also saw the Bundu fight. Thurman beat Bundu good too, but Algieri is the only one that I could like. I like the videos where they ask him about the upcoming fight, because Chris Algieri fought Pacquiao and Errol Spence. And Spence stopped him.
So you don't hard. You don't give Errol any credit for taking the belt from Kell Brook. Kell Brook almost beat Gennady.
I give Spence. He was boxing good, man, but I think Gennady just had the punching power, man, and he was pressing forward, man. All that weight,
and Kell Brook went, and Kell Brook moved up to fight Gennady. So man, that was Earl, in my opinion, that's Earl's most signature win is Kell Brook.
Steve, let me put. If Kell Brook didn't move up to fight Golovkin, and I reckon that fight with Spence might have been a bit more dangerous for Spence, because let's be honest, Kell Brook after that Golovkin fight was a damaged fighter. He had his Golovkin brushed his eye socket, surely, and then going into a fight with Spence straight after that for me, I don't believe. I believe that. I don't know whether Spence would have won that fight if Kell Brook was undefeated. The way Kell Brook performed in that fight as well. Maybe, listen, Spence was the favorite going into the fight. I remember the bookies here in the UK had Spence favorite, but I don't know. What do you think, Stephen? Do you think that fight would have played out differently if Brook didn't go up and fight Golovkin?
No, I think it would have played out the same way. Spence is just a beast.
Yeah,
He's just a beast, just a complete total beast. And he's strong, and you know, he's technically sound. I mean, almost to the point to where, you know, you really can't front on Errol Spence. So it was going to end up the same way, man. He was destined to become champ, just like Boots Ennis is. Boots Ennis is the next god of the welterweight division, and there's nothing that anybody can do to stop it. Nobody.
Yeah, he's the best. I reckon he's the best.
Yeah, he need to fight Virgil. He need to fight Virgil Ortiz, definitely. And I'll give him the credit if he beats Virgil Ortiz, because they're in the same era, same age.
I don't think so. Thing is, Gamo, that fight's too early yet. You need to build that up into a super fight, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like, if you got to beat everybody in your era, just like Pac and Floyd beat everybody in their era. They're the top two. You could say Oscar finished third. Like legacy wise and greatness. But I just look at Spence's last 3 fights, man. Porter, Danny Garcia, and Mikey Garcia. You know, and then Kell Brook, that was his first belt. And then the Lamont Peterson. I mean, those 2 fights were Al Heyman.
Lamont was way past it, man.
I like Kell Brook, man. Yeah, he was too. And I just look at his last 3 fights, man. And I look at Manny and what Team Pacquiao sees, because I'm friends with Marvin and Justin Fortune and Freddie. Shout out to them letting me into their gym. I just see what they like. I'm just thinking of it like, okay, I look at Spence as a fighter, watching his footage, and how he fights. How would you beat this guy? You got to go in and out fast. You got to always move away from his jab after you land. You got to get in there and land quick to the body, in and out. You got to feint, and you got to use mad timing, because Manny knows that he's betting on he took this fight because of Spence's speed, man. He thinks he can out move him, man. And he's gonna be in and out because he knows his jab is dangerous, man.
Guys, I'm getting people in the comment section saying Crawford beats Spence. Crawford is a more complete fighter. Spence is basic. Crawford will beat Errol Spence. Richard Brown definitely. And Pro Larry say Crawford is a more complete fighter. What do you make of it?
I got Crawford dogging Spence out in the championship rounds, 11 and 12. He might stop him because Spence drinks, man, and Crawford don't drink or smoke at all. He's a gym rat, and he's a Southern guy. You know, he's a country boy, just like Wilder.
You think Crawford stopped Spence?
Recently, yeah, and probably like 11 or 12.
Wow, that's a big.
You look good.
But see, a lot of people might think I'm delusional. See, this is why that's why there's hardcore boxing.
No, not delusional. No, I'm not. I'm actually shocked.
No,
I haven't really heard
a lot of people might
Crawford stopped.
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if Spence beats him. But I just think style-wise, man, I'm looking at the style, man. I think Spence would adapt, and after 6 or 7 rounds, he already figure it out, and I think he could out cardio Spence, man, in the later rounds. He can bring that pressure, man. But some people say Bud's too small. I don't think Bud's too small, man. I don't think Bud's too small at all. It's just Spence is coming down. That's why to 147. But when Bud's coming up, that's the thing. That's why I give Spence the edge always in size, dude. Even with the Pacquiao fight.
Listen.
I think Bud will dog him.
Go on, Steven.
Listen, there's no way on God's green earth that Bud is gonna stop Spence. There's no way possible he's gonna do that.
I don't see it, man. I don't see it.
There's no, and he's not gonna dog him out either. Terrence Crawford has he has chin issues, and one thing about Terrence Crawford is that he likes to bring the dog out in fights when it's unnecessary, you know. So if you try to go toe to toe with Spence, which is game, Spence is fighting out the front foot and the back foot, and he has that high guard. He goes to the body. It's gonna be a short day, a short night for Bud Crawford. That's my personal opinion. There's no way possible that he's gonna stop.
Spence on the back foot. Spence on the back foot. That's one of his weaknesses that you just brought up right now. That's why I started talking. Spence on the back foot.
Oh, really?
I could see Bud Crawford pressing it, like, because when you see Spence get frustrated, when he kind of shells up, he shells up. He has a good high guard and he blocks good defense, but he shells up when he gets really frustrated. You've never really seen him too hurt. That's why I think Manny is gonna bet on that too, just trying to hurt him with those combos in and out like crazy.
His chin,
And
his
have him
chin,
back
his
up.
chin is.
Yeah, Spence has a good chin, but you see him get frustrated when he's being backed up on the back foot. He doesn't like that. He kind of gets mad. Like that's when you make him fight your fight. And I think Bud Crawford can press him like that, man. And with Bud Crawford like conditioned right for this fight, I think like he can press Spence on the back foot and have him frustrated and make it a tough night, because he went life and death with Porter, man. And I think without that knockdown, I would have scored it a draw, because I like without being biased, because I like Spence, but he went life and death with Porter, man. He dominated Danny Garcia, neutralized him, but Danny Garcia doesn't really throw, man. Like, who did Danny Garcia beat at welterweight, man? That's the thing.
Who hasn't gone life or death with Sean Porter? No one.
Yeah, true,
hardly no one. You know. So
everyone's gone life and death with Sean Porter.
Yeah,
Sean Porter's a great fighter. I like his style too. He bombards you with
he pushes everybody to the limit.
He has a rugged style, that Maidana style. I like it, man. That's his style too. Shout out Kenny Porter. Great fighters, great athletes. He trains down here at Marvin's gym. But I don't want to. I might bet. I want money on this Spence Pacquiao fight. It's just right now, as we get closer to the fight and we see the press conference. Well, we'll see, because I think they should have the press tour real soon. Probably like in July. Definitely, like it's in August, so he should do the press tour when he comes down here. He's gonna have to do hella press when he comes down here. But I think I'm gonna try to go, because I want to see Spence. I want to talk to Spence and just give him props, man. Man down in strap season, but man, Spence got hate. A lot of Bud fans don't like Spence, man, because they say him and Al are ducking the fight. But you can't say that completely, because it's Bob too, man. But I got Spence. I got Crawford, man. If he versus Spence, I got Crawford, man. If you see it differently, then that's why I wanted to see the fight, man. Years ago, like in 2018.
Jet older. In the chat says Pacquiao went life and death with Horn. Pacquiao went life and death with Horn. Horn brings it up.
Horn's damn near a super middleweight. He's a weight bully. He lost to Tim Tszyu. They fought at like 160 or something. Jeff Horn, huge, man. Damn, he can fight Canelo. He's huge, like damn near a super middleweight. But Horn bullied him, and Horn didn't stop him, but he did bully him around. Shit, but Manny didn't get stopped. Like, and there was I think round 9, Manny was giving it to him good, man. And American ref might have stopped that fight.
That fight was a farce.
That fight with that ref, that fight was for sure. It was definitely fixed to rob the belt for Manny before he left Top Rank.
You didn't know whether or not.
Go on.
You didn't know whether or not Horn was wrestling or boxing. That fight was a farce.
Yeah, he was doing head. Yeah, I mean, I was watching it live too, like, because he was doing a lot of headlocks and this. And dude, and just think, Horn is a damn near a super middleweight. Like I think he just he fought at 160 like his last fight. This dude is huge, and he was headlocking Manny and doing like some. He was doing like some headlocks and wrestling techniques, man. He was just fighting dirty. He had to make it a dirty fight to get that win. Sometimes you got to do that. And some people are saying Spence is going to do that. He's gonna bully him, trying to manhandle him, because Manny was fighting clean. He kind of underestimated Horn. He told me that. I asked him. He was like, he kind of. I mean, you can watch it too. Like, he talked about it. But Horn it was big, man. He bullied him and manhandled him, and Manny got comfortable, and he it made him remember. All right, I'm Manny Pacquiao. I took this fight easy. He thought Horn was gonna be a cakewalk because he in his prime he would do 12 rounds like a cakewalk. It was nothing. He could go 12 rounds. He could fight 15 rounds, but he underestimated Horn. He didn't know like this dude. He was big, so he used his size, man. Bullied him around, but Manny put up a good fight, man. He didn't get stopped, but
Manny did not lose that fight. That fight. That Manny did not lose that fight.
I don't really care. Like he didn't. Oh, my bad.
No, I was just gonna say that Manny did not lose that fight. That fight was there was something going on with that fight. For anybody, if you sit there and you look at that fight and you have Manny losing that fight, then something's going on. Something's going on in your head. Manny didn't lose that fight.
Yeah, no, it should have been stopped, and the ref was helping Horn. It was giving him extra time to recover, and the ref was like always breaking it up when Manny was landing, and he was just trying to get Bob definitely had it set up because Bob don't care. Bob's an ex-lawyer. He's been doing this for years, and he wanted to take that belt, and he knew he just paid Manny $10 million, just for that fight, and Manny got set up and took the belt, and then he fought Crawford after, and Horn got stopped.
Who is Crawford? So who is Crawford? Who is he really fought at 147 to?
I give Crawford.
I
give Crawford that Horn. I give him that Horn win. That showed me he could fight a bigger guy coming down to welterweight in size. If you're just talking about size,
he beat the brakes off Horn
that to him. Yeah, no, that's why. Because Horn's like 5'11". He's a big guy. Coming down.
What would Spence? What would have happened if Spence fought Horn? What would have happened?
The brakes off him as well. Spence would beat the brakes off Horn as well.
That'd be a great fight. I think Spence would go. He'd probably go like 10 rounds with him. A little bit longer.
I don't think that would be a great fight, Gamo. I think Spence would batter Horn.
Spence is a boxer.
Spence is a boxer.
Horn. Yeah, he'll probably stop Horn, but he'll probably box him first and just try to break him down to the body.
If a smaller Crawford beat the crap out of Horn, if a smaller Crawford beat I watched that fight between Crawford and Horn. He beat I'm saying he beat the crap out of Horn.
Yeah, that was Crawford's first title at 147.
Yeah, his only title. He hasn't won a title after that.
Yeah, that was his first title.
He hasn't fought anybody.
Manny's a four-time. Well, yeah.
I love Crawford. Crawford won me over when he fought Gamboa. When he fought Gamboa, he won my heart. But Crawford has not fought anybody at 147, and I don't know where the narrative came in to where he is pound for pound the best fighter on the planet when he hasn't fought anybody at 147 yet.
See,
he hasn't fought any of those guys.
Yeah. Okay. Spence got his
Danny
belt
Garcia beat him twice in the amateurs.
Yeah, in the amateurs, and he beat him in the amateurs. He did. Okay, Spence got his belt in 2017, and then Crawford got his belt in 2018. And then in this time span until now, you're looking at the resumes, and you're just trying to compare it. It's just you can tell whose fan base is hyping up who more. I think the Spence fans, man, his fan base, inflating his resume. He's a great fighter. Also, Bud Crawford, though, who has Bud Crawford really fought after Horn? Okay, he fought Benavidez. I was watching that, and then he fought.
And that was
Khan, right? Was it?
And that was
it. That was
and
also
also
he fought Cab Velasquez, and then he fought Cab Velasquez. That's it. That's it? And because I was watching all his fights, and then
let me make a couple points real quick. And let me make a couple points real quick. All right, so
it's almost
Crawford,
comparable, yeah.
No, it's not comparable. It's not comparable. If you fighting a watch, we already covered Amir Khan earlier, and we already determined that Amir Khan is a has-been. He was great once upon a time, but definitely by the time Crawford got his hands on him, he was washed up goods. He was washed up good.
And Kell Brook.
Yeah, Spence a better competition, slightly. He slightly
and
fought better
and when he
competition
fought,
at 147. I give him that.
and
Because
when
Spence,
and
because
when
Crawford,
Bud fought, when Bud fought Mean Machine, he was hurt. He was hurt.
Yeah,
That was a pretty competitive fight. That was a pretty competitive
yeah.
fight. I don't see Errol Spence getting hurt by Mean Machine. That's what I'm saying.
No.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop this in boxing. We gotta stop crowning people too early in the game. I love Jerron Boots Ennis, but the fact of the matter is that he's untested. He hasn't fought anybody yet. He was beat twice by Gary Antoine Russell. Did you know that? He beat him twice.
Who was?
He beat Jerron Boots Ennis.
amateurs.
He beat him twice. Yeah.
The amateurs, yeah. I know about Gary Antoine Russell at 140. You should fight my boy Brandon Lee.
Yeah,
Untested
and
too,
that'll be a
super
good
green.
fight. That's a good fight. Him and Brandon Lee, that's a good ass fight.
That's a great fight. Yeah, but Crawford does have some chin issues, but I think he can take the punch because okay, like Spence hasn't knocked out anybody like for a while. I mean, for a minute. Danny Garcia took his punches. He did drop Porter, and then Danny Garcia took his punches. They boxed. I don't think he'll stop Spence like to the head.
Crawford,
I
you
mean,
mean?
I don't think he'll stop Crawford to the head. I think he'll hit him definitely with that straight jab, long ass arm, and he'll connect. But I don't think he'll stop him like that.
Gamo,
I
let me make
see.
a point though. You said that Danny Garcia. Well, who did he stop? We all know that Danny Garcia and Sean Porter have granite chins. Garcia's
they
got
have
one of
good
the best
chins.
chins in boxing.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
That shows.
and Mikey Garcia, let's be honest, Mikey Garcia came like he after a couple of rounds felt his power and went into survival mode, right?
Yeah, but he
That,
did
that
go the
fight when he
distance.
competitive.
To win.
He did go the distance. He went 12 rounds, and that shows. Like,
Oh no, he went
really
the distance. He went the distance. He was tough. Don't get me wrong. Garcia was tough, but Garcia wasn't throwing many punches at all. He was getting, you know, I felt like he didn't want to open up because he felt if he did, he'd get knocked out.
Yeah,
Like
but he
Porter
wasn't
and
too
Garcia,
hurt.
don't get me wrong, they got great chins.
Yeah.
They're known for having great chins and they're known for their durability. Crawford for me, I don't know whether he's got the same chin of a Porter and Garcia. He can't afford. He has to be on his slick game because if he opens up against Spence, I think it could be night.
He going night.
If this fight doesn't happen in 2022, it shouldn't happen anymore. It's already too late. If Spence is gonna move up, or I don't even know, but they need to fight because if Pacquiao throws the wrench and gives Spence his first loss, and he has the belts, it changes the whole Crawford Spence fight. Just like the Wilder AJ fight, and then all of a sudden AJ lost. You know what I mean? Like, so I think Pacquiao's gonna throw that wrench. And
you know, in the comments section, a lot of people saying Spence is overrated. Spence isn't that great. He's overrated.
Yeah, well, because a lot of his fans, which happen to be LDBC, a lot of LDBC supporters happen to be delusional fans, delusional boxing fans, man.
Forget, you know,
they be inflating his resume. Spence is a great boxer, man, and he got promoted by Floyd. Great towards the end of his career. He did give Floyd a black eye, in sparring for the Manny Pacquiao fight.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor and ask the guys.
But Derek James is a great boxer. I mean, great trainer. I give him. He has Charlo too. So we'll see their game plan, man. We'll see their game plan August 21st.
One sec, Gamo. 1 sec. Go on, Stephen.
Okay, do me a favor and ask the people in the chat that's saying Spence is overrated. Yeah. Ask them who are the top guys at 147.
Guys, you're hearing it. You're hearing Stephen say what he's saying. Who are the top guys at 147? Basically, Prole is saying, I'm not saying he's overrated myself, just rather in boxing terms, he has serious weaknesses.
Okay. like such as I mean, because we seen his chin. We seen his chin. We know he has an incredible chin. We know his defense is impeccable.
Yeah.
We know he punches at a high rate. We know he's good on the front foot and the back foot.
Yeah.
What foreseeable weakness does he have thus far? The motherfucker was in a car wreck that would have marked anybody else. He comes back and fight Danny Garcia, who hits like a fucking mule, and didn't that fight was a wash. That fight was just as bad as the Mikey Garcia fight.
No one's beat Garcia like that. No one's beat Danny Garcia like that. Thurman fight was close. Danny Garcia's loss to Porter was close. Spence battered him. Spence made him look.
He knocked out that Khan fight. He showed power. Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
See, I still have Amir Khan a top 10 welterweight because he's still ranked. I still have him a top 10 welterweight. Wouldn't you like?
Oh, come on, Gamo. I'm the biggest Amir Khan fan, and I don't have him in the top 10 anymore.
Okay. Amir Khan.
Amir's finished. Honestly, I'm the biggest Amir Khan fan. Literally, I got into boxing because of him. I got into boxing. Go on.
Amir Khan versus Boots Ennis or Virgil Ortiz. He could fight both those guys.
No, listen.
That's not.
He's a gatekeeper now. He's a gatekeeper.
No, I know he's a gatekeeper, but come on, you can't be letting Amir get beat like that. Come on. I don't want to see Amir Khan get beat by young prospects.
He needs a fight like that though, like to bring the dog out in. Like that's like
no, because he's not active anymore. Those guys are young and fresh. They'll knock him out, man. Why would I want to see somebody that I looked up to get knocked out by a young kid?
If he does get stopped, then he should call it a retirement. But I think he still has one more fight where he can do it. One last fight.
With who though? With
no, not with Boots Ennis, man. Those guys are lethal. If it was Amir in his prime, then fair enough. But this is Amir that don't like. Nah, man. I wouldn't want to see Amir get beat by Boots Ennis.
He will get offered the fight. See, Amir is a guy who will get offered the fight because of his name. So you never know.
Yeah, but he wouldn't take that fight.
I heard talks of Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis fighting Amir Khan like in the last months. So shit, that's why I brought it up.
Really? Who said that? Who said that?
He's still because the sanctioning bodies still have Amir rated in the top 10, and Virgil Ortiz needs a fight, and so does Boots, and they're moving up in rankings. So that's just how they're sanctioning it, man. Like
I respect.
That's how the rankings are.
I respect the
ranked top 10 in the WBA, I think, or the IBF. One of those sanctioning bodies. He's still ranked top 10, man.
Listen, I respect Amir Khan way too much to see him take a fight against Virgil Ortiz or Boots Ennis.
He's a good boxer
and get humiliated. Yeah. There comes a time where you have to know when to hold him and when to fold him. It's definitely time for Amir Khan to fold him.
Yeah,
it's that chapter of his life when he was great and he excelled is done.
Yeah.
So I think he's greater than Prince Nassim. I think so.
Amir Khan should be fighting guys like Broner or Kell Brook, not Virgil Ortiz or Boots Ennis, man. Boots. Honestly, Boots Ennis, like I'm the biggest, like I said to you, I'm the biggest Amir Khan fan. Boots Ennis would knock Amir Khan out, but like it wouldn't and Boots Ennis isn't even a world champion yet. He's not a world champion, but I've seen that guy, and that guy is dangerous. I told Steven the other day that he looks like the second coming of Spence to me. I would not want to see Amir in the ring with a big welterweight that's up and coming like that. That's fresh. That's hungry. Remember, hungry. We saw Amir against Crawford, right? And he didn't look hungry anymore. That was 3 years. That was what? How long ago was that?
Yeah, right? It was almost sad to look at.
Yeah, it was sad to watch that. You're right. It was sad to watch that, man. It was sad to watch that.
Yeah, it took a knee, man. Something with these UK fighters. Not all UK fighters, man, but it's just usually UK fighters, man. When you watch professional boxing, the ones that be taking knees, or yeah, usually you fighters, man.
But I don't agree with that narrative. I just think he was out of his prime, man. Many great fighters have quit. Like when you're out of your prime and you're getting battered, right? Think about it. If he wanted to quit, he could have quit against Maidana. That was a way more horrible fight. Maidana was horrible, and he's a bigger puncher than Crawford as well.
Nah,
but when you're out of your prime, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I would have been disappointed if Khan quit against Maidana because that was like 2010 or 11.
But what I'm saying is he was in his prime,
it's
so
just
he
his
wasn't
chin,
gonna quit.
man. Yeah, it's just his chin, man. He's a great boxer. He always starts off good. He's a good boxer. He has fast hands. It's just his power and his chin. That's it. And he's a little.
Where did you hear that news?
Times.
Where did you hear that news? Because Amir Khan is training right now, so I don't know where did you hear that news that he might fight Virgil Ortiz or
because just the names, man, being mixed up in boxing forums and news, and just like I look at boxing press, just what I hear, like with my media, what I see Amir Khan. They said possibly fighting Virgil Ortiz or Boots Ennis or something like that, man, and then a Kell Brook fight, and then calling it a day.
I would like to see Amir if he's gonna fight against Broner. That's it.
Because he's
fights like that.
They just said that because he's rated, man. He's still top 15 at welterweights, but he was top 10 on one of the sanctioning bodies or two of them. Because like at number,
that's egregious.
I don't know, man. That's
Thurman is like Thurman moved out. He's like number 6 now. Thurman, since his L, they dropped him to like number 6 or something like that.
But even Thurman shouldn't be in the top 10, man. What's Thurman done? Thurman, when was the last time he had a win? I can't even remember when he didn't have. He hasn't had one for 2.5 years.
Where do you have Boots? Okay, Boots. He's rated what, like 16th, 17th.
He would beat Thurman right now. Honestly, Boots Ennis would beat Thurman right now.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight.
Thurman's past it, man.
More of a boxer. Thurman's more of a boxer puncher. That's why I think Spence would beat him.
Not Spence. I'm talking Boots Ennis would beat.
Oh yeah,
Thurman.
Boots would beat him for sure. But right now, just of his size, and he's inactive, man. It's just PBC fighters. They fight like once a year, man.
So think about that. Gamo, think about that, right? Think about that. Amir is more washed up than Keith Thurman, right? Boots Ennis would beat Keith Thurman. We're all agreeing. Do you agree, Stephen, that Boots Ennis would beat Thurman right now?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so no way I would like to see Amir fight Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis, for me, would beat everyone apart from Errol Spence, probably Crawford.
Yeah, but Amir would take it and take the knee and get the check. Like
I don't think he would. I don't think he would. I don't think he would.
Because I don't think he would.
It's not enough money, man. It's not enough money. Boots Ennis isn't a big enough name to make that kind of paycheck, like you say. Amir gets a lot of money when he fights, and I don't think Boots Ennis I think it's too much of a risk. It's not a big enough name, and it's a fight that you're gonna be in deep water, right? Amir knows how good Boots Ennis is. These boxers know all about all the young up and coming prospects. He would know how good Ennis is. He's not gonna want to go in there against Ennis and get beat by a young prospect coming through. No way. Amir
ain't taking that damn fight. Amir is way too smart.
No, he ain't taking that fight. No way. Amir should fight Broner, man. That's it. Amir should fight Broner.
In an exhibition style fight.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's all.
But coming back to Boots Ennis, do you agree, Stephen? He beats everyone apart from the top dogs at welterweight right now.
I say everyone with the exception of maybe Sean Porter.
Yeah.
He's beating everybody else though. But I'm telling you, man, listen, there's some young welterweights, man, that'll give Boots a run for his. If you ever seen James Martin fight, James Martin, he's a flat out dog. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of young welterweights coming up that we need to be looking out for now, because they're gonna start making a name for the. And once they get in the ring and start mixing up, Yeah, Rashidi. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of the welterweight division is looking real lovely right now. The second coming up.
It is, man. It is. What about Ugas, man? Ugas. What about Ugas v Ennis?
That'll be a good fight, but I got that'll be a good fight. But I got Boots edging it out. What do you say?
You know what? That fight between that Ugas, I feel Ugas is very underrated fighter. I rate Ugas. I rate Ugas. I actually think, like I said to you, I think Boots Ennis is special. I think Boots Ennis, I seen him fight and I was like, whoa, this kid is gifted. I'm talking gifted. Like he looked special. Like the way, I know Lipnets was past his best, whatever, but he just dismantled him. I'm intrigued to see how his career folds out. I think he's gonna be a great fighter. Great. And you know what? I actually think he's gonna be an avoided fighter. He's gonna have to make his way, get himself into a mandatory spots. And I actually think he could beat Sean Porter. I think even right now, I think he could beat anyone. I genuinely think, apart from probably Crawford and Spence, I think anyone else, I think he's ready to step in with them. But they may not push him in to those fights.
No. Yeah. I think that fight between Boots, a potential fight between Boots and Sean, I think it can go either way. I mean, I'm not gonna say that Boots will win against Sean or vice versa. I just think that'll be a strong test for Boots to see where he really stands. You know, where he really stands, because Sean Porter is no slouch at all. Yeah. But you know, the more and more I think about it, I'm kind of thinking that Boots might edge Sean Porter out.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to make a thing. XXX. I put the link in the chat section. So if you want to come in, come in. But yeah, Gamo, you're back. So yeah, how great do you think Boots Ennis can be?
Yeah, he needs to be tested. He's definitely green. I mean, I'm the same age as him, something like that. I think he's over 1 year older. But he needs to fight a top 10 and top 5, maybe a Johnny Garcia, or I don't see him fighting Porter, even though it'd be a good fight. Ugas, I don't see those fights just being made. Thurman would be a great fight, but I mean, some people say he needs to go to 154 because he's big, man.
Boots Ennis.
Yeah. I think he could beat Mikey Garcia for sure.
Oh yeah, I think he would. Yeah.
Or even fight like a Jesse Vargas, because see, Jesse Vargas is also rated like in the top 10 still.
He'll clobber both Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas on the same night.
Yeah. That's why. And then I think after Jesse Vargas, it's like a Miracon on the ratings. That's why I'm going. But yeah, he can fight those dudes because those dudes are rated higher than him. So it's just like that. You got to beat dudes that are rated higher than you to move up for the title contender, and then from there you get the mandatory position.
Yeah.
So he needs to fight. We'll see who he gets next, man. Because they look at all 4 sanctioning bodies, and then they look at the rank, because they're all a little different, but they're usually like kind of the same. They just have might have a few different fighters or different orders. Because of the 4 sanctioning bodies, so they go from there and shit. But let's see, man. I watched last 3 Boots' fights. He's good, man. He trains with and Lee. They came up together in the amateurs. Yeah, he's strong, man. He has power. I want to see him fight Virgil Ortiz in like a year or 2. Yeah. But if they made it now, fuck it. If they made it now, I'll watch it right now. I'd watch that fight right now. I'd pay for that fight. That'd be a good fight. Because they're the same age. That's why you got to fight young dudes your age too, man.
Stephen Gamo, I want to ask you about Conor Benn.
Yeah, he's probably the best at that weight from the UK for sure. Best prospect at that weight. That'd be a good fight. You talking about Conor Benn versus Boots Ennis?
Yeah, I think Boots Ennis would batter Conor Benn, but I still think I just want to know your opinions about him as a fighter.
My opinion of Conor Ben's the real deal. This is what I'm saying. I know there's a lot of talk about Boots, but I see the young guys like James Martin, Conor Benn, Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz.
Xander
There's really no
Zayas.
way to, huh?
Shout out Xander Zayas from Puerto Rico. He's at 147. Super young though.
Mhm.
Like he signed a top rank. He's pro. Super young though. But yeah, but Conor, he's fundamentally sound. All I've seen from him, man. Great boxer. Fundamentally sound, man. Nothing too flashy, but super sound. He can fight on his back foot, come forward. But I need to see more of him too, man. Like tested.
Yeah, Conor Benn is the real deal. I like Conor Benn a whole lot.
Conor Benn, man, up and coming. He's fighting Granados. How do you think it's going?
Man, he gonna kill
Steven,
Granados.
Conor Benn fighting
he better knock
How
out.
do you see that one?
He better knock out Granados because Granados he's a good like C level fighter, and then there's B level and then A level, the elites. He's making his way up right now.
He's gonna kill Granados. He's gonna kill Granados.
You need to have a highlight reel stoppage. You need to stop him because he has the power to, I believe. Granados doesn't have a chin, really.
Conor Benn v Sean Porter. Who have you guys got?
Sean Porter.
Yeah, Sean Porter. I got Sean Porter in that.
Yeah, right now probably Sean Porter. I've got Sean Porter winning like six rounds, 6 or 7 rounds. Probably I got Sean Porter winning like 7 rounds.
Conor Benn is way too inexperienced to fight to deal with Sean Porter.
He'll be in a dogfight in those by like round 8. Porter would just be swinging at him. I don't think he'll know what to do. He's too green for sure. You need to fight like a Jesse Vargas even because I think Boots Ennis should fight Jesse Vargas. Shit, he could beat him. See, 147, man. Who do you have top 5 at 147 right now?
Steven, go on.
I got Errol 1. I got Crawford 2. I got Sean Porter 3. Boots Ennis 4. Virgil Ortiz 5.
Wow. No Pacquiao.
Pac-Man is my heart. You know what I'm saying? I can't emphasize that enough, but Pac-Man's my heart.
Campaigning there,
yeah. But as far as having him as a top contender, he's royal to me. He's a king to me. So I don't even factor him in. I think it may be time for Pac-Man to look into doing something else if he loses this fight with Errol Spence.
Oh yeah, he's gonna retire if he loses. Well, he still has a contract with Paradigm. They're gonna do an exhibition with Conor. They have that in the bag, so he's gonna do one exhibition for sure. Probably next year or something when he retires. But he said in an interview in a Philippine news, like if he loses the fight, it could be his last fight. He's emphasizing like it will be if he loses.
Imran, who's your top 5 welterweights?
I'm gonna go Spence, Crawford, Pacquiao, and I'm gonna say Boots Ennis, number 4. Even though I think it's quite premature putting Boots Ennis number 4 because, like I said, he hasn't really fought anybody to get that ranking, and he hasn't really fought anybody that to put him ahead of Thurman, Porter, and even Danny Garcia. But I think he beats those guys. I think he's that good. So I'm just going on the eye test and putting Boots number 4, and then number 5 I would have to put on current form. I'd have to put Sean Porter. But Porter is gonna fight Keith Thurman in a rematch, And if Thurman can prove himself, then Thurman goes in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Gamo, give me your top 5.
Yeah, I got, as of right now, currently stylistically, because at a time, Manny was pound for pound number one at 147, king. He was at one in his prime. But right now it's Spence, Crawford, then Manny at number 3, and then I still got Thurman, man, number 4, because Thurman can fight, man. Number 4.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, and then number 5. See, I'll either put Porter, and then I'll say Boots Ennis, from what I've seen, man. And then after that, seeing the ratings, and then they got Mikey Garcia like at 6 or 7, in the rankings. But yeah, that's my top 5 for sure.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really even consider Mikey Garcia as a true legitimate welterweight.
Yeah, neither do I.
He's a blown up welter. I mean, they let him fight. Shit, Eddie Hearn giving him the money to fight there. So shit, he want because if he wins a title at 147, he becomes a 5-division world champion. And there's only a few of those, so he's still trying to get the belt. I just don't see who he can beat, man, to get the belt, and unlock that achievement.
I don't even see Mikey Garcia beating Virgil.
Yeah, I think Virgil has more dog in him right now. He's younger, fresher, stronger. Yeah, he'll never fight Virgil. Anybody from the RGBA stable. But I think see that's the top 5, and then after that is I don't like the top 10 ratings. It's kind of off. But if Josh Taylor moves up, shit, let's have him fight Crawford.
Yeah, I don't think Josh Taylor. I don't think he'll cut it at welterweight. If I'm honest, I think those guys will eat him up. I don't even think he beats the prospects like Ennis, and I think Ennis would beat Josh Taylor.
Yeah,
I think the difference between 140 and 147 is massive.
Yeah,
the guy, the levels, right? I honestly don't even think. I think, you know, the guys, the champions at 140 wouldn't even beat the prospects at 147. So I don't think Ramirez, Taylor. I don't know. I don't think he'd beat. I don't know whether I don't think he beats Ennis, and even Virgil Ortiz. I'm not sure whether they even beat Virgil Ortiz.
Do you think Boots Ennis now, or from his most recent fight, that version of Boots Ennis beats the version of Pacquiao that came into the fight at 147? That'd be a good fight. Because they're in the same weight class. I mean, Boots has stated he'll take the Pacquiao fight if he gets it, but he said
he won't get it though. Pacquiao's not gonna.
But what do you think that version that came in against Thurman, and the most recent version of Boots Ennis, because they are in the same weight class, but
I don't know. That's a hard one.
That's a good one. That's a dog fight. I think Boots can hurt him for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough fight.
But I just don't know. Boots is too green, and he'll get overwhelmed by like.
Possibly. Yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
It is.
Or even the version against Spence that we're gonna see, but I mean, we'll see.
Man, you know, I was just gonna say real quick, man. The thing about Boots is, go ahead.
Go on.
Go on.
I was just gonna say the thing about Boots is, I see him fighting. He likes to showboat. He likes to play with his food. He likes to stand there with his hands down. He's gonna have to tighten some of that shit up. Because if you do that against Sean Porter, you might be taking an L or even worse.
Yeah, he clinches and stuff sometimes. Like he'll be doing some shit. Like you could see, like you could try to pinpoint holes and shit. Who do you got top 5 at 135?
That's a good division, man. Are you asking me or Steven?
It's a real good division.
Yeah. Both of you here. I'll give you mine. So at number 1, I have definitely Teofimo because he has most of the belts in the division. I have Teofimo, and he's showing his power. He can box. So I got Teofimo, and then I got number 2. I still got Lomachenko, man, at number 2. I got Lomachenko at number 2 or 3. I got George Kambosos, man. He great fighter. And then after that, I got Nakatani, man. And then after Nakatani, I got Devin Haney, then Ryan Garcia. That's like 7. And then after that, you can put in Linares and like all those other guys. Yeah, man. And then that's where Comey is, and you can put in those guys. But that's how I have it, man. I just got Nakatani that high because he coming off that win off Verdejo shit made him go crazy. And he's tall, rangy, tallest dude in the division.
I'm gonna say mine is my top 5 is similar to yours. I got T.O. number 1. You know, I might have to put Nakatani number 2, and this is simply because Nakatani, in my opinion, I think he gave Teofimo a controversial. The fight was controversial, and I think Nakatani, I would dare even say that he won that fight. Teofimo was definitely
tall,
and Nakatani. Listen, man, Nakatani is a straight up. His heart is, you know, who did he fight last? That last time he fought, man, that fight was incredible. Nakatani came back.
Verdejo. He has a chin. Like, he'll get hurt though. He'll get hurt. He'll take the punch. Like Nakatani will get hurt in fights, but he doesn't go down. He has a chin. But I just have him that high right now because of his recent fights. And he's tall for the division, man. He's like 6 feet. He's big for the division. The tallest guy in the division right now, I think, currently, like rated.
I might even. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put Gervonta Tank Davis number 1. I'm gonna put him number 1. I put Teofimo number 2. I put Nakatani number 3. I'll take Devin Haney the Dream at number 4, and then Loma at number 5. But that's subject to change to see. That's subject to change, whether depending on whether or not Nakatani beats Lomachenko.
Yeah, that's a good fight. But see, the thing with Tank, Tank, is he really at 130, 135, or 140? It's like, dude, like he's fighting at 140 right now, and then he has like a secondary belt at 135. So it's like I didn't even rank him at 135 because I rank him in my 130 pound like list. Like
it's kind of like he's kind of like another Canelo.
Yeah. If you put him at 135, then yeah, I have him like definitely like top 4 for sure. It just he hasn't fought it. Like he only fought at 135 once. Like, and you know, like dude, like he only fought at 135 once, and he never fought a champ at 135. So that's the thing. Like.
So who do you? So Gervonta Tank Davis. Okay, so out of all the guys we've named at 135,
he'll beat dudes at 135 though. He could beat dudes at 135 for sure. Yeah, he has the power and boxing technique to beat these dudes.
What are you saying, Rand?
Fought him like I think Tio and Gervonta would be a good fight. I think Floyd Mayweather ducked Teofimo because that fight would have happened. They would have made it if they really wanted it. But Tio's the man right now, man.
I say Tio number 1. I think we all unanimously agree that he's number 1. Then number 2, I would put Lomachenko because I think he had a very close fight with Tio, and that was 7-5. I felt like Tio won that 7-5. Number 3, I would put. You guys might be surprised with this, but Gervonta Tank Davis. I think although Gervonta is moving up to 140, I still think that he's a very, very dangerous guy. Number 4, I would put Devin Haney. And number 5, for me, it's between Ryan Garcia and Nakatani. I actually agree with you, Stephen. I think Nakatani could beat quite a few guys, and I was impressed by his performance against Teofimo. And I actually think that fight with Lomachenko ain't going to be no easy fight.
Yeah. See, I only rate Kambosos higher than Haney because I mean I rank Haney like at 7 because he showed me he can box, but he just doesn't have the power, man, to get these dudes out of there. Haney should have had 2 back-to-back KOs in his record. He should have stopped Gamboa and Linares. I know he could have, but I think Kambosos will give him a good fight, man. Haney, because like when he fights these top dudes, I don't know if he has really the power to keep Teo off him, man. Teo comes in there angry, is trying to come in there, man. Like I see him hurting Haney, man, and Haney would just be trying to box on his back foot, but I could see Teo closing the distance, man, and just throwing. Yeah, I mean,
Haney just ain't got no power, man.
Yeah, Haney's a good boxer, man, but it's just like when you don't got the power to keep these guys off you, they'll come at you, man. Like if you get clipped with one shot, like that you don't see. I mean, Haney was boxing good against Linares. Just he did get clipped, but that showed he did get hurt when he got clipped. But think of somebody with more power than Linares. Linares is not known for being a big puncher. He's good. He's known for timing. That's how he dropped Loma with that punch placement. Loma even said it. It wasn't power. It was just the timing. Dropped him perfectly when he was coming in. Perfect timing. I think Teo could possibly stop Haney, man. Like, cause if he comes in, man, like Teo got the power, and he's a big guy. Haney got a chin, man, but I just think that his boxing is not going to be enough to keep Teo off him if they did fight right now, and a 12-round fight, like at 135 professionally.
So, Ahmed, how are you?
I'm all right, Imran. How are you guys?
All good, man. All good. All good. What do you make
like
of? Go on.
Yeah, I like Shakur Stevenson too, man. At 135, shit.
Who's the best fighter at 135 for you, Ahmed?
Well, I've got to say Teofimo Lopez, obviously beating Lomachenko, was so highly rated. So he's got to automatically take that spot for me.
And number 2?
Number two, you still have to give Lomachenko, I think. I think you've got to give him that benefit of the doubt, and he's still up there, I think. And number 2 with and you got your Haney's, and that still got a bit to prove yet, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Good points, man. Good points. And what were you saying about Boots Ennis? You were saying something about Boots Ennis.
Oh, no, definitely he's a pretty strong, good prospect coming along, I think. And I think one or two more fights, I think. And I think he'll be ready for somebody like Ugas. I think he'll already be ready for, I think. Maybe just needing one more fight and then Ugas. And then see whether he's ready for Crawford and Spence, because that's going to be, jumping right in the deep end. And I don't know whether he's ready for that, but he's definitely there knocking on the door. Him and Virgil Ortiz.
Boots Ennis v Conor Benn. Who have you got?
Well, but Boots Ennis, man, too much power.
Yeah. I think we all agree Boots Ennis is special, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's definitely first. Mm-hmm.
Gamo, you agree as well?
I mean,
yeah, definitely. With what he's shown with his technique, but he just needs to work on his defense a little bit more. I think he can a little better footwork. Just that, and he needs to be tested. Definitely, just move up in competition. But
I mean, he's the first guy. I've not heard many people say that somebody's looking as a prospect as good as somebody like could be like somebody like Roy Jones, and I just think that's a real compliment for him. And if he carries on improving and that, and he could get there.
Guys, Inoue's fighting tonight. Who wins, Inoue or I don't know how to say the guy's name. Des Moranis. you know how to say his name? Des Moranis?
Is that even a question?
Yeah. Why is it that? Is that straightforward, Stephen?
It's straight down forward.
Yeah. Inoue, knockout.
Knockout for sure.
3 rounds?
Maybe 3.
Maybe. You going for 1?
Maybe second round.
Yeah.
Maybe second round stoppage.
Yeah. Gamo? Gamo? Ahmed, what do you think? Inoue?
Yeah, Inoue, I think he'll take a middle rounds. I think just under middle rounds.
Yeah. I think Inoue is special, man. Stephen, what do you think of Inoue?
I think he's special. I think he's special. I think he's ranked, pound for pound, what, number 2 or 3, and that's for a good reason. That's for good reason. The dude, the guy's been putting in that work, and he's been knocking people flat on a pockets. And Inoue he's a monster.
Inoue, man, he's one of my favorite fighters. That fight between him and Donaire, oh my God, what a fight! What a fight that was, man. That was one of the best fights I've seen.
Yeah, it was. It was a damn good fight. And just to think that Inoue kind of handled Donaire like that, that was impressive. You talking about
go on.
No, go ahead. I want to hear Ahmed's take.
Yeah, Ahmed, what did you make of Donaire and Inoue?
Inoue is obviously a really good fighter, and I'm not seeing much of Donaire fight, but Inoue definitely is a really good fighter.
Do you think Stephen, do you think if Inoue was to fight Donaire again, do you think there'll be a different result with Donaire winning that title off of Barley, the battered of Barley, and Barley was the favorite? Do you think Donaire could beat Inoue in a rematch or no?
Yeah, I think he could.
You reckon? Left hook.
Donaire is special, man. He is, man.
The fighter, man.
He's gonna go. When it's all said and done, he's gonna go down as one of the greatest boxers of our generation.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think, Stephen? A quick question: do you think if there was no Manny Pacquiao, he would be appreciated a lot more?
Yeah, because Donaire Nonito has intangibles that, in my opinion, he has some intangibles that Manny Pacquiao doesn't have. I think I'm not here to speak on one's intellect, but I think Donaire is intelligent. He's high functioning. He articulates himself well. He knows boxing like the back of his hands. I think if you ever listen to Nonito break down potential fights, he's always giving his breakdown from a pugilist standpoint, not from somebody that's leaning towards one fight or another. Case in point, he gave the breakdown of Manny Pacquiao and Spence, and he gave reasons as to why Spence beats Manny Pacquiao, and those reasons were from a boxer standpoint. It wasn't from a fan standpoint. They were all legitimate reasons. Nonito has all the intangibles that separates him from the average boxer. And I think if there weren't any Manny Pacquiao, I think Nonito we would held him in higher regards.
What do you think, Gamo?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because Pacquiao is the greatest Asian fighter or Asian boxer. Yeah, he is. So there's a lot. There's Korean fighters, Chinese fighters, Thai.
Gamo, we can't hear you that well. Some technical issues there. Ahmed, I want to get your opinion about Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence. How do you see that one going?
I think it's going to be a close fight, but I think like age caught up with Pacquiao, I think now, and because you've seen it late against Thurman, his engine was going, and he hung on and he got the victory. But against Spence, it's going to be a different ball game because Spence is fresh, strong, and really them 3 minutes of he's going to make it count every round, and I just think he's going to beat Pacquiao, I think.
I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah. You talking about some intense pressure. Spence has the ability to apply that intense, hellacious pressure on him. And Manny Pacquiao, with his age and just his stature, his size and everything, it's gonna be hard. We ain't talking about Margarito. This ain't the same or De La Hoya. We talking about somebody who is gonna be punching nonstop, thud and power, thud and punches. It may prove to be a long night for Manny Pacquiao, but if anybody can pull it off, Manny Pacquiao can, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening.
I favor Spence as well. I favor Spence. It's just that I'm not writing Manny off, just like you, Stephen. But it's difficult. It's difficult to see Manny winning this one.
I think the hope for Pacquiao will be the fight with Mikey Garcia that Spence had. And I think he might look for positives there, thinking, he couldn't get him out of there. And at least, I will give him my best shot. And, in 12 rounds, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But, that's something that's a real interesting point, I mean, because I think that fight is between Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence is misunderstood. Listen, he didn't TKO or he didn't stop Mikey Garcia, but Mikey Garcia took a large portion of that fight. He took a considerable hellacious beating, and he beat the will out of Mikey Garcia. So why he didn't stop him, and the fight could have been stopped. The fight should have been stopped. Why he didn't stop him, he severely damaged Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia right now, at this day and age, at this very moment, is damaged goods because of Errol Spence.
Well, definitely, there's no doubt about that. But moving up 2 weight divisions, it took it out of him. But having said that, Spence should have stopped him though. But I was quite shocked though, that you couldn't get him out of there. Like, late on as well. Like Mikey was going for it late on as well.
Hachi Boxer, my boy Hachi Boxer says Pacquiao will once again shock the world and beat Spence. Mark my words, Pac wins by UD. This will be the best version of old Pacquiao. Wow, there's some real optimistic. Hachi Boxer is a big Pacquiao fan. He's been telling me for 1 year now that Pacquiao will beat Errol Spence and Crawford. He's been saying it for a very long time. Let's see if it comes true. What do you guys make of that?
No,
I think
and his
go ahead, I mean,
prime Pacquiao beats this version of Spence, or like the past versions of Spence we've seen since he won his title for sure. But now it's a close fight. Spence is going to be tested, for sure. We'll see.
Yeah.
He's gonna be tested for sure. Pacquiao will too, but Pacquiao he's had big fights. This is Spence's biggest fight, so we'll see how Spence handles the pressure and what he displays.
Yeah, Ahmed.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's too late for Pacquiao at this stage of his career, and Spence is just going to be too strong, too fresh, too relentless really. And Crawford on another level. You know what I mean? He's really special, and I don't think Pacquiao can do it anymore really. And we're gonna see probably this is probably going to be his farewell fight. To be honest with you.
And let's be candid and open about it. Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman, that fight without the knockdown, I had Keith Thurman winning that fight. And Keith Thurman is not equipped to beat Spence on any day. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint and you analyze it from that standpoint, I'm like you, Ahmed. I just don't see Manny Pacquiao pulling another rabbit out of his hat this time. I think, but again, like I said before, I think this is kind of the way Manny Pacman should go out. He should go out on his back because that's the fighter he is. He's a warrior, and that's why we all love and respect Pac-Man. It's because he's fearless.
Yeah, I respect that,
definitely.
but I see him pulling another one out of the rabbit hole and taking this win and having Spence's first L, because I see Spence's style is all made for Manny, and Manny knows what version and what condition he has to come in to win this fight, and he's gonna go all out until you stop him, and I see him trying to overwhelm Spence. I see him doing it. I see him pulling it off because of his rest, 2 years off, and he's gonna give a masterclass performance, super vintage, and that's what I expect from him, and that's what I've heard from people I know. So we'll see. We'll see, because this is Spence's first big fight at MGM. He's fought in Dallas recently. We'll see. I see Manny exposing Spence, just dancing around him. I see Manny getting hit with that straight jab, but I see him dancing around him. The only way I see Manny losing is those later rounds. If he just slows down and just gets caught up in the ropes, his feet slow down, can't cut off the ring, can't move around. Other than that, I see him taking Spence's punch and just starting off good. I see Spence having success in like the later rounds. I think Manny can win, man. Definitely, for sure.
What? Ask yourself this. Ask yourself, who are the top fighters in boxing? The top fighters that we've known. Okay, you got to say De La Hoya. You got to say Floyd Mayweather. There are those fights. This fight between, you got to say Pac-Man. This fight between Errol Spence and Pac-Man. Pac-Man really doesn't have anything to lose. He's already a solidified 100% great of the sport. He's already going to go down in history as the greatest fighter of the last 25 years. Not one of, but even surpassing the likes of Floyd Mayweather. Spence has everything to gain. He has everything to gain. He's on the brink of, he's already challenging Canelo as far as the name and the pay-per-view and all that kind of stuff. Spence knows that. Spence knows that if he goes in there and if he wins a fight with Manny Pacquiao, it's going to propel him to number one status. He's going to be able to overthrow everybody and pick his fights, and he's going to transform into a name that we only know into a household name. He has too much to gain from this. So I just don't think that. I just think that it's looking real bleak for Pac-Man right now. What do you say, Ahmed?
No, I agree with you definitely. I mean, it's too late. I mean, if you watch the Thurman fight, you could just tell clearly that Pacquiao looked old in the later rounds. He was huffing and puffing in the late rounds, and he looked very tired. And again, someone like Spence, I mean, definitely this is Pacquiao's. This is it. To be honest with you, Spence, he's a real quality fighter. I've got him right up there, pound for pound, and I can't see Pacquiao winning. I'm sorry.
Hachi Boxer says Spence couldn't KO Mikey Garcia. He couldn't drop Danny Garcia. He kind of dropped Sean Porter. What makes you lot think he'll drop Pacquiao? Pacquiao dropped Thurman. Who has dropped Thurman? Responses, guys.
That's the, you
Yeah,
know.
man.
Go ahead, Gamo.
Yeah, real quickly, I just don't think Manny would have took this fight if he didn't think he could win. Like, he's confident that he's gonna win. I don't think he would have took this fight if he knew he had no chance at all. He's not. He was in the ring with Spence. He knows what it's gonna be like with his size, so
No,
he's not worried
he's going
about that.
he is
He's
going
calm. He's gonna go in the ring and he's gonna do what he's gonna do. And I just don't. He's not really like in awe of Spence's power and size. And yeah, man, but this is gonna be the toughest fight for Manny, but for sure, he wouldn't have took this fight if he didn't already have a game plan beforehand. And he has a good team studying Spence and breaking down his style. And I think Manny has a good plan B and plan C. So I
no
can
money.
see Spence winning though. I can see Spence winning for sure. Just on stats, but man, I see Manny winning too, man. Just because of, I know what Spence brings to the table, and as a fighter, I can see I can see it, man. I can see the win for Manny. It's just I'm a hardcore Massey boxing, but I mean, we'll see, man, on fight night. I'm gonna be at the weigh-ins too, so I just want to see how they're looking at the weigh-ins and hopefully I can go to the press conference. But yeah, man, Manny's gonna take these belts and he's gonna retire.
Ahmed?
You don't. No, Manny is always going to give it a good fight. It's going to be a close fight, but I can't see him winning this time around, because what I've seen in the Thurman fight just showed me the last few rounds he was huffing and puffing, and I've not seen that from Pacquiao in a long time. And obviously, there's another 2 years gone past now. So what's he going to be like now? I mean, he was really tired in the Thurman fight, and Spence can 12 rounds. He can just do it, very easily. And the relentless pressure that he's going to pose on Pacquiao later on is going to tell, and he's going to get the decision. And
Yeah.
Pacquiao
will give him a good fight, but it won't be enough this time around.
Yeah, Spence is one of those fighters that, as the fight progresses, he gets stronger and stronger. I mean,
saw that in the Kell Brook fight.
Yeah, I mean, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger. He just now that he's back with Blu-ray, training with Blu-ray strength and conditioning, man, this dude is, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard, and it's kind of bittersweet for me, because I love Manny Pacquiao so much, so dearly, but I just Spence, with his youth and his have you ever seen how strong he is? Have you ever seen?
Yeah,
the way
strong.
Have you ever seen the way he conducts himself in the ring? I mean, he doesn't get rattled. He doesn't. You never seen him get out of character or anything like that. He is just.
You seen what Danny Garcia? You seen what Danny Garcia said in a recent interview? He's asking him about the Spence Pacquiao fight. He said that Manny can stop Spence, and this was recent in the interview. But he said they could stop each other. But he said Manny can stop Spence, and he just fought him too. And he didn't say that out of his ass. He knows what he's saying. And he said Manny can stop Spence because he knows boxing. He's a fighter too. So I was surprised when I saw him say that. I didn't think he would say that Manny could stop him. So
I don't know if Manny can stop Spence. I'm not sure.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say,
interview, man.
Yeah, I check it out, and I seen that interview. But I'm kind of wondering, was that sour grapes? or was that the truth coming out? Because Danny Garcia was in there with Spence. He knows, you know, we seen not just you, not just me. Imran seen it. I may have seen that fight. Everybody in the chat seen that fight.
Yeah.
And that fight was a you know, that it was a beating. It was a beat
down.
So I'm wondering if he's saying that just because. Listen, man, listen, Gamo. I want to make it very clear that. Go ahead.
Ahmed, we can't hear you.
I'm not saying.
Oh, who is that? Who's that speaking? Is that Gamo?
I don't know. Gamo smoking that gas.
Yeah, Gamo's can't hear him. Yeah, go on, Stephen. What are you saying?
Nah, I was just saying there may have been some sour grapes coming from Danny Garcia. He, you know, I think if you look at things from a technical standpoint, I think you gotta say that Errol Spence kind of manhandled him in that fight, and I'm wondering if he was just bitter.
Yeah, I think he was bitter. I think he was bitter. I think Garcia was bitter. I mean, it was quite a beat down, wasn't it? Danny Garcia never for 1 minute, 1 second looked like he was going to win that fight. It was just bashing, really.
Michael Little says, "I'm telling you, Spence will sit on that canvas." Wow.
Well, you know, I'm not surprised that some of the viewers are saying that. I'm not surprised. They have good reason to say it. Look, nobody's out here. This isn't a campaign to bash Manny Pacquiao. We all seen his greatness, so I can see why there's a reason why Manny Pacquiao is so loved. He's so. I think out of the Asian sector, I think he's only second to Bruce Lee, and to have people love and revere him. But that doesn't translate into an actual fight situation where where it's all on the line. So I can see, and there has to be a loser that night. My bet is that it's not going to be Spence.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think you make a very good point there. I think you make a very good point. I think it's going to be tough.
Just wanted to ask you guys, do you think Spence could beat Crawford?
Yeah. I would Spence to beat Crawford.
I don't think he'll beat Crawford.
Ooh.
I think you've seen enough Crawford, and I mean nobody's given him a close fight, in the divisions below, and he's just completely destroyed everyone, really, if you think about it.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think Crawford is he's good for what he does, but I've seen some things. I've seen some weaknesses in him that I haven't seen from Spence. When he fought Mean Machine, that fight was a real competitive fight. It was a good fight. I love that fight. I may even watch that fight later on tonight after I watch, Jamal and them. But
other than the time he got caught with the shot, he dominated Mean Machine.
But it was just let's take the Benavidez fight. That fight was competitive.
Yeah,
that fight was real competitive.
How was that competitive?
It was competitive until the late rounds, until Benavidez finally tapped out. That's what I'm saying.
Benavidez had a dodgy knee. Benavidez had one leg.
Mm-hmm.
So, I agree, Ahmed. I agree that Crawford has beaten everybody. Ahmed, but he hasn't fought the top 147 guys, so we can't really judge that yet.
Yeah, but
that'd be like us saying
what you have to look at in them circumstances is what's the manner of his victories, and the manner of his victories are that he's just Kell Brook. I mean, look how Spence beat Kell Brook. He did, it was a real close fight until he got stopped. And
Ahmed,
don't forget
but
that
come on,
was a pressure.
Spence beat a more fresher Kell Brook. Kell Brook was finished when he fought Crawford. Like that's not even unfair. It's like saying, well, look at the fight that when Canelo had a harder fight with Amir than what Crawford had with Amir. But come on, Canelo fought a much better Amir Khan than what Crawford fought. You can't really. Spence beat a better version. Remember, Brook was a champion when Spence beat him. Spence wasn't even a champion. Brook was a champion. So and also Spence went over to the UK to beat Kell Brook.
Yep.
Spence went over when Spence was green.
Everybody at all those dudes at 147 at welterweight, the top 5, they can all beat. Nobody's head and shoulders above anybody. Like they get all top 5, they can beat each other any given day. Yeah, nobody's head and shoulders above anybody. Porter and Spence, close fight. So it's like nobody's head and shoulders like that's unbeatable. They could all like Spence and Crawford. They could beat each other. I have Crawford winning if they fought.
You know what the separation is?
I have Crawford winning if they fought.
You know what the separation is, Gamo? The separation is there are certain select crop of fighters that are champions by heart, and they have a winner's mentality. Spence has that clutch gene that there was nothing in the world that was going to prevent him from winning that fight against Sean Porter. There was nothing. A good fighter, the top fighters that you see, the Canelos of the world, the Floyd Mayweathers of the world, the Manny Pacquiaos of the world, they have that trait in them that when it's go time and when it's time to pull it out, they could pull a rabbit out of their hat. And Spence has that. There was no way that Sean Porter was going to win that fight.
So you don't think Crawford's got that? You don't think Crawford's got gears and levels?
I think he has gears and levels, but we haven't seen him tested. Look, I like Jerron Boots Innis, but the reality of it is that he's untested. He's unproven at this junction. At this point right now, he's unproven.
So Crawford's 135 champion at 135, undisputed 140, and champion at 147, and dominating, everyone really who he's fought, and like proven that I know what you mean by proven, but then you look at the fighters and you look at how if he's not for top fighters, you look at how he's dismantling the fighters or how he should be beating fighters. He's doing exactly what he's meant to do and even better, don't you think? He's fighting rejects and has-beens. He hasn't fought any of the guys at the top guys at 147. He has yet to fight them. But they don't want to get in the ring with him. Only Porter.
Do you think Crawford? Do you think Crawford would have stopped Danny Garcia? Do you think Crawford would have stopped Sean Porter? Do you think Crawford would have? Crawford
would have stopped Danny Garcia.
Oh no, I don't agree with that, man. Danny Garcia. What you feel? How is Ahmed? Ahmed, I like Terence Crawford. I think he's a good fighter, but Danny Garcia, man, no one stopped him. He's fought everybody. He's fought Amir in his prime. He fought Errol Spence in his prime. He fought Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. None of them guys could tittle him. None of those guys could tittle him. How is Crawford going to stop him? Crawford isn't even.
Kell Brook's a tough guy. Whether he's quality or whether he's not, that's another question. But he's a tough guy, and he'll tell you. You know what I mean? How he got him out there just so easily, man. And Ahmed. Kell Brook, he got hit on the eye against Terence Crawford, and he lost his senses. He's a completely shot fighter when Crawford fought him. Completely shot. He is tough. I agree with you. I agree with. I'm telling you now. You put Kell Brook in right now, this moment, and put him in with Errol Spence. There's no way Errol Spence can get him out there within 6 rounds.
No way.
Within 6 rounds. Within 6 rounds,
Kell Brook massacred by Spence now.
I'm telling you, Errol Spence cannot get Kell Brook out of there within 6 rounds.
Oh no, come on.
Errol Spencer murder Kell Brook. And
No,
and
you
there's
won't.
no way.
I can put my whole life savings on, man. Who can get Kell Brook out of there quicker? Crawford or Spence? I'm telling you, it'll be Crawford all the time.
And Danny Garcia, Danny Garcia,
get him out 2 rounds every single fight. One round, 2 rounds.
And if you really want to be technical about it, there's no way he's getting Danny Garcia out there. Danny Garcia is already beaten Terrence Crawford twice.
Who?
So they know each other. They've been knowing each other since they were kids.
Who's beat Terrence Crawford? Danny Garcia?
In the amateurs.
No chance, man. Come on, man. You never. I mean,
go look it up.
Impossible.
No, he has. Garcia has beaten him. I mean, I'm sorry. Crawford has beaten. I'm sorry. Garcia has beaten Terrence Crawford in the amateurs. Yeah,
that's the first time I've heard that. I'll have to check that.
No, honestly, no. He has. Crawford admitted it. He has. I don't know if he's beaten him twice, but he's definitely beaten him. He's definitely beaten him once, Ahmed. Honestly, he has beaten him. As an amateur, Stephen's right. He has beat Garcia. Did beat Terrence Crawford.
I'll have to check that one.
But anyway, that was amateurs. We're talking like pro game. I'm not saying Crawford doesn't beat Danny Garcia, but Ahmed, to stop him, Danny Garcia's got one of the best chins in boxing. I'm talking, he's got as good a chin as Canelo, Golovkin, those type of guys, right? There is no way Terrence Crawford stops Danny Garcia. Outboxes him, yes. Not stop him.
No, there's a KO and there's a TKO method, isn't it? I mean, why can't he stop Garcia late on with relentless punishment? You know, it's possible, man.
Bro, think about it, Ahmed. He went 12 rounds with Benavidez, was on one leg.
On one leg.
Come on, man. Do you honestly think he's going to stop Danny?
Did you see how he sparked up Benavidez?
I seen it, but that guy was on one leg. He was on one leg.
But then when somebody thinks they've got a chance against somebody, they say, "I want a rematch." And if you really think he can beat Crawford with 2 legs, you know, he would have known better. He would have said, "Yeah, I'll have a rematch."
No, but he can't be. He's damaged. Benavidez is damaged. It doesn't. Benavidez isn't a top like welterweight. Like Benavidez isn't really a top welterweight. But what I'm saying is, do you really think, Ahmed? Do you really think that? Do you think Crawford stops? Okay, who do you think Crawford stops at welterweight then?
Crawford's capable of stopping anybody really. Anybody.
So you think you think he beats Spence, right? How do you think he beats Spence?
Well, first thing that comes in mind, points.
Right. Okay. What about Thurman?
At this stage, he's capable of stopping Thurman.
Right. Okay. Porter.
At this stage, he's capable of stopping Porter. Remember, it's the shots you don't see, and you've seen again. If Porter's wild and Crawford's got ability, man, he switches stance. He not just switches stance. He can fight backwards he can fight. He can box you. He can fight you. He can southpaw everything. He can do, man. So as long as once he makes his adjustments against somebody like Porter swings wild and catches him off guard, he can go.
Keith Thurman, they called him Keith one time for a reason, right? Keith Thurman couldn't even get in, and this is when they were both in, when Keith Thurman was in his prime. He couldn't even get Danny Garcia out of there, and he was hitting him with some slobber knockers. I mean, he was Danny Garcia got a pretty good chin. Terrence Crawford ain't stopping Danny Garcia.
A granite chin. Like, I'm talking granite chin.
What I'm saying, at this stage, Crawford's capable of stopping Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, who's below that, Ugas, and all these guys. Spence is the only one. Well, I'll say, it'll be a tough fight, and I'd say points victory for Crawford.
Wow. I just don't think Crawford's got that kind of power where he's going to be stopping like big welterweights like that, man. I don't really. I don't.
Look, in 6 rounds he stopped Amir Khan, man. That's not easy thing to do, you know. Obviously, you never. That was quite, you know what I mean. He dominated.
He didn't stop Ahmed. He didn't stop Amir Khan. Amir Khan himself decided not to go on because he got hit with a low shot. He didn't stop him, man. He got put down. He got put down in the first round, and Khan went on another 5 rounds after that.
But
after
was it not
being put down
inevitable?
in the first, hard.
It was inevitable, though. It would have only gone one more round, you know.
No. Okay, 1 or 2 more rounds. But what I'm saying is that was Khan way past his best.
No, I know he's way past his best, but I mean, even if Khan was at his best, he couldn't beat Crawford, could he?
I don't know, but what I'm saying is I'm not saying that he would have beaten Crawford. What I'm saying is if Khan was at his best, right, the fight wouldn't have played out like that because Crawford would be getting hit with a lot more shots as well. Khan in his prime was better than Benavidez and Mean Machine.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but so what I mean is, if those guys can give him trouble, then why couldn't Khan give him trouble? Kell Brook, you're telling me that Kell Brook that fought Errol Spence wouldn't be giving Terence Crawford more trouble? Kell Brook hardly landed. Like Kell Brook, he was just jabbing all night. He didn't even throw a right hand. Kell Brook was worried that his eye is gonna get. Listen, as soon as he got hit on the eye, right, Kell Brook fell apart in that fight. Like, you're not telling me any top fighter, any top welterweights gets knocked out the way Kell Brook got knocked out there. That was a jab.
Yeah, it was a jab, and I think it wasn't even to his eye. I think it was just to his head or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was bizarre the way he got knocked out, man. That was bizarre. I didn't even understand how Kell Brook got knocked out in that fight. Right?
But it just shows how much. That shows how Crawford's power is. It's underrated, isn't it?
Do you think it's underrated, or do you think Kell Brook was completely shot to bits?
To carry your power from 135 to the top fighters at 147, it's not easy, is it? And look how Crawford did it.
So Ahmed, are you telling me if Spence fought Kell Brook right now, he wouldn't knock him out in 3-4 rounds?
Not quicker than Crawford.
I put it this way: if Kell Brook was to fight, you know what? I would even stop the governing bodies to stop. If that fight was to be talked about, the governing body shouldn't even allow that fight right now, because that would be dangerous for Kell Brook's health.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be dangerous for Kell Brook's health. That's how far gone I think Kell Brook is. Kell Brook may not even beat Conor Benn right now. No joke. He may not even beat Conor Benn right now. Forget about fighting Errol Spence. So Terence Crawford beating Kell Brook in 4 rounds, I just don't think. What does that mean? I don't really think we can judge that. I don't really make much of that.
And going on to the lower weights,
fair enough. The lower weights, okay. Yeah, I'll give him that. I'll give him the lower weight classes. But the lower weight classes, right? They're smaller guys. They're not as strong. But at 147. You know how you say his power carries up to 147? Think about it, right? Okay, we give him the Jeff Horn win. What would Errol Spence do to Jeff Horn?
Jeff Horn was durable. Whether he's good or not, or whatever level he was a durable fighter. He was big, strong out the way, and he gave Pacquiao. Pacquiao was 50-50. The decision could have gone Pacquiao's way, but it went Jeff Horn's way. So if he give Pacquiao such a close fight, strong, went over 12 rounds with him. And look what Crawford did to Jeff Horn, stopped him. Don't forget, that was his first jump up from 140. First jump up from 140, he battered Jeff Horn. Yeah,
that was a dominant performance against Jeff Horn. I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
Jumped from 140, he won the title straight away. But demolishing Horn.
But I don't agree with you about you saying he stops Danny Garcia in that. I don't see it, man.
No, if anything, why can't you see it at this stage, though, Imran?
Because Danny Garcia's got a granite chin. He hasn't shown me. He's never been down in his career. How are you going to stop him? He's never been down. He just fought Errol Spence, who's a big welterweight, and Errol Spence couldn't tittle him.
Why are these guys not wanting to fight Crawford, though?
Who, Danny Garcia? I don't know, because Bob Arum's not paying him enough money. Like, Bob Arum needs to pay Danny Garcia enough. Like, Danny Garcia is a wealthy guy. He's not going to fight Crawford for nothing. You know, Danny Garcia is not, come on, Ahmed, you know boxing. Danny Garcia is not afraid of Terence Crawford. Come on.
But no, he's not afraid. He's a fighting man. He's a good top fighter. He's a top fighter. He was a top fighter in his time.
Yeah.
But, just saying, you know, you just asked me whether he can be stopped. I think Crawford's got a lot of power, you know, underrated.
You know, let me tell you something, Ahmed. If there's anyone that's going to get stopped in that fight between Garcia and Crawford, is Crawford. Garcia has the kind of power. If that left hook lands on Crawford's chin, which is vulnerable. Let's be honest. Crawford's chin. There's stories about Crawford. Gary Russell, apparently, I don't know how true this is, beat Crawford up. Like, I don't know whether it was a street fight or sparring. Apparently, knocked Crawford out. There's even Virgil Hunter brought this up when Amir Khan was going to fight Crawford. That Crawford's chin. There's stories about Crawford's chin, right? Garcia has the kind of power to take your lights out with that left hook, right?
You see what he did to Amir Khan?
Yeah. That was a horrible.
Again, what they usually say about the chin is it's not necessarily. Amir Khan didn't necessarily have a bad chin. The fact is he got hit on the chin, which that's what made him not a good fighter. A good fighter does not get hit on the chin. You know what I mean? The shot you didn't see, he got caught by Garcia and he was gone. Simple. Generally, you know, a chin's is not really that strong as anybody's chin's not really.
And I would even venture to say that Danny Garcia is the reason he sparked the beginning of the end for Amir Khan. It was Danny Garcia that did that. It wasn't Canelo. It was Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
Danny Garcia can hit. He can hit, and he gets the crap. And he's tough as a 4x4 wooden block. Danny Garcia, he's tough. Crawford ain't stopping him, man.
You know what? Steven. You know what? When Amir fought Danny Garcia, right? Amir thought that he's just gonna walk through Danny Garcia. He was walking him down, right? And he was letting his hands go. And see, after about a couple rounds, Amir should have realized that this guy ain't going nowhere. I've hit him with everything. Amir was lighting Garcia up in that fight. He was battering him, right? And then Garcia, out of nowhere in the third round, landed a huge left hook, right? And that was Amir's wrong game plan in that fight. Amir could have outboxed Garcia if he wanted to on the outside, but he got too brave in that fight. And he ended up getting too close to Garcia, and Garcia tagged him because nobody really knew about Garcia at that point. Garcia was relatively unknown. But Amir didn't really have, for me, I think he just didn't have the chin to go and fight toe-to-toe with someone like Danny Garcia. All he had to do is just use his long range, use his reach, and outbox Danny Garcia. Now, Crawford would do that, but Crawford gets caught. Crawford gets caught in fights. Let's not make out like Crawford don't get caught. Let's not make out like Gamboa didn't hurt Terence Crawford. Let's not make out that Kavaliauskas didn't hurt Terence Crawford. And let's not forget, those guys aren't as good as Danny Garcia.
Yeah, but the difference between you're right, Imran, but the difference between Crawford and Amir Khan is Crawford knows how to make these adjustments, you know, according to, you know, what fighter he's fighting.
Yeah. But that doesn't, that doesn't mean Garcia can't catch him. Garcia is a lot better than what people give him credit for. He's a good fighter. I rate Danny Garcia. I rate him, man. I do think he can hurt Crawford. I honestly don't think that's an easy fight for Terence Crawford, you know? That's a hard fight. That's not an easy fight. That's not an easy fight, man. I'd like to see that fight. Steven, what's your take?
Nah, I agree. I mean, I agree. Danny Garcia is underrated in a lot of ways. But he's one hell of a fighter. At 140, he was the absolute man. and at 147, he's proved himself to be a top contender. You know, he's just rugged. He's built for a beating, and he could take a beating, and he could slug. He can hit. That dude can hit. So in Ramsey, he's right on the money. I mean, there's stories and parables about Terrence Crawford, you know, having a suspect chin, and he does have a suspect chin. We've actually seen it with our own two eyes. We've seen the Kavaliauskas hurt him. We've seen that, you know, Gamo hurt him. We've seen him be tested with Benavidez. That Benavidez fight, he was giving Crawford all that he bargained for early on. It wasn't until his leg and everything. And I'm not making excuses for Benavidez, but that was a you know, that fight, obviously that was the first fight where I seen Crawford, and I was like, oh man, Crawford, he needs to tighten up on some stuff, you know. So I think Crawford is, Crawford, you know what I'm saying, but I just put him second. I put him second in you know, out of my top 5. But Crawford, you know, he has some proving to do. To me, at least he does.
When you say top 5, do you mean pound for pound?
No, top 5 welterweights.
You put him in the 5th position, like
No,
top
second
position.
Second.
Okay, right. Yeah, that's fair enough. You know,
what about pound for pound, Stephen? Where do you rank Crawford?
Pound for pound, maybe 4. Maybe 4. You know, it's a lot of.
Go on.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, pound for pound, like where do you so who do you put number 1, 2, 3?
I'm gonna say right now, I may say I got Canelo number 1.
Yeah,
I got Canelo number 1. But if Spence, if you know, depending on whether or not Spence wins his next fight, you're gonna have to absolutely put Spence number 1. You have to do that. So, you know, what would you say, Rand?
I would say Canelo number 1. I'd put Crawford number 2 because of his achievements at the lower weight classes, right? But I put Usyk number 3, and I put I got Spence number 4. I got Spence number 4 just because he hasn't, obviously he's only fought at one weight class. And pound for pound is like, you know, guys that move up, but Spence is so skilled and so good to me that I have to put him number 4. I think he's really good. And I do think a win over Pacquiao might leapfrog Crawford. And then if he beats Crawford, then yeah, I think I don't think even if he beats Pacquiao, I would still not put him number 1 because I think Canelo's achieved a lot, and I think it'd take a lot for Spence to get to number 1. I think if he beats Crawford and becomes undisputed, then I put him number 1. Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
A potential fight, a hypothetical fight between Canelo goes up.
Yeah.
Canelo Usyk.
Ooh. That's Usyk, man. Usyk's too big. Too big.
Yeah.
It's too big, I think.
Yeah.
Usyk's at heavyweight now, Stephen.
So he ain't fighting at cruiser anymore?
No, he's at heavy now, man. He's fighting Joshua.
Oh, that's a bad fight for Usyk.
Usyk's gonna fight Joshua next, man.
That's a bad fight for him.
Do you reckon? I don't know, man. A lot of people say that. I think Usyk's got a good chance in that fight.
You know, the thing about Anthony Joshua that's so perplexing is,
yeah,
I would write him. I would crown him, but he seems like he's unsure of himself.
Yeah. I agree with you there. You're bang on the money there. You mean like he's not confident?
Right.
What do you mean? Expand on that.
Okay. I mean, you know, I think he has all the intangibles.
Yeah.
Of a great to be 1 or 2 heavyweight in the world, but you
Yeah.
just don't know where his psyche is. You just don't know where his mental state is. You just don't know where conditioning is. You just don't. He just doesn't. He's just not sure of himself. And that, you know, that's going to prevent him from excelling, in my opinion, if he doesn't get that together. Now, who knows? He could be working on all that stuff. But Anthony Joshua is, you know, I don't want to say he's a loser, but he has a loser's mentality to a certain extent.
What do you think, Ahmed? What do you
Are we
think,
talking
Ahmed?
about? Is it Joshua Usyk?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Anthony Joshua Usyk?
Yeah.
Mentality?
Joshua.
Yeah, I do agree with you a little bit about having a little bit of that loser's mentality. I mean, you seen it when he was patting Ruiz on his back after he lost. But Joshua versus Usyk, I've got it like a 50-50 fight, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Usyk is capable of, if Usyk sticks to his boxing only, he could win this fight. But if he goes to try to, you know, get into a fight, then, you know, Joshua is the heavy-handed fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I like the.
What makes a great fighter is finding a way to win. You know what I mean? Like Floyd said, finding a way to win, making adjustments. People thinking somebody's on top. People thinking somebody's on top of you, but you got the fight in control. You know, similarly, this is what I would say about Terence Crawford. You think he's been hurt or stuff, Gamboa here, there, this, that. But I could tell watching you very closely that, you know, he loves that fight game, man. And, you know, fighters like that, you know, they'll be in total control. Floyd Mayweather.
I'm sorry about that, but in this division with bigger guys, I don't know how far that's gonna get him. It's only a matter of time before he's exposed with that type of. You can't halfway box in with bigger guys like that. And if Terence Crawford doesn't know, if Terence Crawford doesn't, you know, start out good and finish good, he may end up being exposed in the welterweight division. What do you say, Ahmed?
Yeah, no, you're right, definitely. But the thing is, he's got a lot of experience now, and he knows how to start them 1 or 2 rounds, making adjustments and getting a feel of how he wants to fight. Whether the guy's trying to fight with him, if he's trying to fight with him, you box with him. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, when Roy Jones once said, if someone's trying to fight with you, you box him. If he's trying to box you, you fight him. But you've got to be in control, and you've got to be good enough. And I think Crawford is good enough, to be honest with you. What you call it, to make the adjustments. The amount of fighters he's fought, different style. You know, I think, you know, he's really got, you know, he's really in control of himself.
Christian, what's your opinion?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be here. Shout out to all you guys. My opinion on what exactly, because I kind of got caught out when I was trying to join the chat.
What was that?
I got cut out when I was trying to join the chat, so I wasn't able to hear the last part. What opinion are you asking me for?
All right. Okay. So like Terence Crawford. How great do you think Terence Crawford is?
Oh no, I think, to be honest, just because being disputed, we've seen many fighters be undisputed. The level of competition he's fought, to be honest, is not great. If he were to fight, you know, like a Sean Porter, just get more names because he's going up there in age. It's those guys that you're 50-50, you're not sure, and he keeps putting in that work. He can potentially be a Hall of Famer, but as I see it right now, I don't see him as a Hall of Famer.
Fair enough. Everyone, see, this is what I mean, Ahmed, that a lot of people don't don't see Crawford like that because they think that Crawford hasn't faced that stiff competition. A lot of people have their opinion. They don't even like Christian saying he don't think he's a Hall of Famer right now.
But then what happens if he ends up unschooling Errol Spence? Then is
Yeah, then
everybody
obviously
no?
then
What if people start saying Errol Spence was overhyped? Then are they gonna make that excuse?
no, but no one would say that because we all know Errol Spence is in his prime and he's the best welterweight. So you can't really take no one's like boxing fans, hardcore boxing fans won't take that away from Crawford if he destroys Errol Spence, right? Don't you think, Stephen? Oh, Stephen's gone.
I would want to say that even if Crawford didn't destroy Spence, he just won with a close split decision or even a unanimous decision, but it's a competitive fight. Obviously, you're going to see holes on both fighters because they're fighting elite fighters. And when you fight an elite, at least when a fighter fights another elite fighter, they're going to expose weaknesses on each other, which makes it even more competitive and even more entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, Christian. You made some good points there. Lil Penny, how's it going?
Hi, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. I'm just working. I'm just listening to your podcast.
What's your take? What's your take on Terence Crawford and who he should fight and where he stands in pound for pound and how great he is?
You know, mate, to be honest, I don't think Bud has been tested at 147. Maybe at 140, but not 147. But just to answer your question, I don't know maybe Josh Taylor, because that's the fight that's makeable. I mean, we can't say Ugas or we can't say like Thurman. Those fights cannot be made, obviously, because of the politics. But he should either fight Taylor, or if Tio beats the Australian guy, Kambosos. If he beats Kambosos, then maybe Tio can go up to 147. That would be a good fight for Bud. But I hope, mate, Bud doesn't resign with Top Rank and signs with PBC instead. That way he can fight the fights that he wants to fight.
Did you say Teofimo Lopez moving up?
Yes.
Nah, man, Crawford would destroy Teofimo.
Yeah, he's too big, I think, for I think Crawford's too I think Crawford might be a little bit too big for Lopez right now. But Lopez is big though. Ahmed. He's massive.
No, he is, but Crawford's on another level. Crawford, I mean, Teofimo's like a kid, man. He's got no chance against Crawford.
Yeah.
What
do you think? What do you think, Stephen? Crawford, Lopez in the future?
I agree with Ahmed. Right now, Teofimo is he's a bit young, and he's I just don't see it happening. I don't see it ending well for Tio against Crawford. Not at this point.
Yeah. So, Christian, I want to get your opinion on this Pacquiao-Spence fight. What's your take?
I've always been a Pacquiao fan, man. His fights are so interesting, fun to watch. If it was like a prime Pacquiao, let's say they were the same age, 30 years old, I'd go Pacquiao. But Spence is another animal right now, man. And basically, age is a big factor in the inactivity, ring rust of a Pacquiao.
So are you going for...
He's only getting older. He doesn't have those reflexes. What's up? I go for Spence pretty much. I'm thinking Spence is winning. Spence is winning, but I'm rooting for Pacquiao.
Lil Penny, who have you got?
I'm a big Pacquiao fan, but obviously as a realist, I do think that Spence will probably win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Manny wins, because I think he's got enough left in the tank. Because as you know, Imran, he lives well, he eats well. And, sometimes when I see Spence fight and he sits down on his punches, especially those uppercuts, I think Pac has enough speed to counter that and then move out of the way. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, listen, I think it's I think Pacquiao is it's one of those where you just don't know what he's got left. Like, we don't know what he's got left, and Spence is very special right now. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I'm not sure. Maybe here's the thing. My heart is with Pacquiao, but my head says Errol Spence. I just think Spence might be too much in the later rounds. I don't like to see Pacquiao go out, but I think Pacquiao might get stopped potentially in the later rounds in that fight. You know, so I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough one. Steven, what's your take?
I'm having some complications here. Hold on.
No, you're in.
Okay. Now what would you guys asking again?
So I'm a bit confused to who. We're all confused to, like, our heart says Pacquiao, but the head says Spence.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta separate your heart from from you know what you know and what you think.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody would agree that Pac-Man has a heart, but you know, there's too many things going against Pac-Man. You know, his just everything.
Yeah, I'd agree. Guys, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna end it here. It's been a long live stream. Guys, I'm probably gonna do a live stream, try to do as many as I can every day. I thank Steven, Gamo, Lil Penny, Ahmed, Christian, all of you guys for coming on. Appreciate it. And I'll probably do a live stream again. And anyone that wants to come on the camera, more than welcome. Guys, you want to give any last thoughts, Lil Penny, Ahmed?
If Pacquiao wins this fight, he's on the Mount Rushmore of boxing.
Yeah, the greatest.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the fight and seeing, you know, how's it gonna play out. I mean, the old legend versus you know, the new kids on the block, and let's just see what Pacquiao does.
Yeah, Ahmed, Little Penny, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
No problem. Man. Thanks.
I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. All of you guys that tuned in, thanks for that. It was a good live today. Take care, everyone. Peace. Take care, guys. Thanks, Richard, for being on. XX, all of you guys in the live stream, I appreciate it. Good live stream today. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, and I'll see you probably tomorrow.